Hey guys, it's Rodimus Primal. We are here tonight to chill out, talk about Transformers and He-Man and whatever else geek stuff that comes to mind. So just be prepared for all that stuff. And I've got today with me, I have got Kato, who is one of my normal guests. And he also has a YouTube channel. You can check him out. I got Deluxe Baldwin. And I also have with me a podcaster. You want to introduce yourself, Mike?
Yes, sir. I am TFG and Mike from the Geekcast Radio Network, and I've been doing this a long time, and I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm old, and it's get off my lawn.
Get off your lawn?
Yes, get off my lawn. I don't even have a lawn. I live in an apartment in a downtown area, but still, get off my. If Batman can say it, I can say it. Damn it. Dang it.
We got all stars in here. Deluxe is in the house,
and whoever else shows up.
I know all star, man. Come on now.
You know, we might be on for a little while. I mean, if you guys have to do something else and you can't stay for a while, you guys could always bounce. But this is more going to be a chill stream, and we're we've got a bouncing Skeletor disguise circular face going on over there.
Yeah, it's about to change again here in a second. So
you a royal boob?
No, but I've seen a couple pairs
of royal boobs.
Yes.
All right then.
Where is that folder? But yeah, like I said, I've been podcasting since 2008, and we started the Geekcast Radio Network in 2009, and we've gotten some notoriety, but not a lot. Not a lot of people notice us. I did Fear for My Life from Maurice LaMarche once.
Fear for Your Life for what?
From Maurice LaMarche.
What'd you do?
So when we do voice actor interviews, usually I edit them and I get them online the very next day. And in 2010, 2011, it was right before Arkham City came out. We have a general script that we go through for all the interviews that we do. We start, how did you get into this, whether it's acting or writing or whatever. Did you always want to be this when you grew up, blah, 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 blah. Down to the middle, almost end of the thing, we have for voice actors, what is your favorite type of voice acting? Animation, dubbing, video games, blah, 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 blah. We didn't even know he was going to say this. He said, the funny thing about video games is it's you in a room sometimes screaming at yourself. And he said, without provocation, didn't ask him, didn't even know. He said, I just finished with Arkham City, or not, Arkham Asylum.
One of the Arkham games.
Arkham City. It was the second game. He goes, I just finished voicing Mr. Freeze for Arkham City. And my buddy Kevin and I, who did the interview, our jaws dropped. Next thing out of my mouth, can you give us a sample? Sorry, no, due to NDA. And I was like, fine, great, whatever. That's, I didn't, okay, sure. He said no. What am I, like, Maurice LaMarche says no to me about giving me a voice that he can't publicly give out. Yeah, I'm not going to cry over it. It would have been cool if he did, because we would have had a super exclusive. So after the interview, I didn't actually ask him, is there anything in here that you think you want me to cut out? I didn't ask him that. I went ahead and spent the next hour or so that night editing the video or editing the audio and putting it online the next day. Some little indie site picked it up, and then IGN picked it up, and it blew up that we basically broke the news that Maurice LaMarche, the brain from Animaniacs, was going to be the voice of Mr. Freeze in Batman Arkham City.
That must have been a...
My buddy Steve, who runs the website, and he does all the computer and all the technical stuff parts of it, he calls me at like 2 o'clock that afternoon. He's like, what did you guys do last night? Because the site is blowing up.
Oh,
I said, I don't know. We just interviewed Maurice LaMarche. We just asked him a couple of questions. Yeah. Like, I'm literally trying to call his agent that afternoon. I was with my mom at the time, grocery shop, trying to call his agent. I'm trying to get a hold of Maurice, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't. Yeah, and I thought the brain was going to come get me with one of his harebrained take over the world schemes. It's crazy.
I can only imagine, because it's like you never expected, like, you know, like he's just telling you something, but
yeah,
it doesn't realize he's recording.
Yeah,
I always ask whenever I'm interviewing someone, I say, if you say something that you're not supposed to tell me, give me the heads up that, you know, you're saying something so I can not spoil something on you. You know, and because I know how NDAs are. I know how NDAs are.
Yeah,
and that's why I do it live, and just then it's their fault.
See, I can't.
I still have to edit my interview with FJ DeSanto, and he showed me stuff, and I have to edit it out. You know, and but it was like a lot of cool stuff. So it was just, you know, but that's the thing, like. A lot of times they're working on stuff, but they don't realize that, like, oh, that's right, I have an NDA on that one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's understandable.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, and like I said, my next question after he said that answer was, can you give us a sample of the voice? And he said no. And I'm like, okay, great. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the next question. Another thing that we've done, if you don't mind me clattering on like I am, for the last, let's see, that's the beauty of not having to worry about a camera. I don't have to worry about where my face is. From 2011,
is your face somewhere it shouldn't be?
In some other dimension, probably it is. I don't know. From 2011 to current, we have done 6 different top 100 countdowns. These are audio podcasts. So basically what started this was we did the top 100 animated series countdown because, again, my buddy Optimus Solo, at Optimus Solo on Twitter, he found the IGN top 100 animated series list where you had to click through 100 pages to see all of the entries. And he's like, we can do this better. We have, I think it's 7 episodes of the show, of the overall Geekcast radio show, where we got together with 20 or 30 different people to make up the list of what the master list would be that we would reveal on the show. We've done animated series, animated films, TV shows, animated characters, villains, and wrestlers was 2 years ago. And coming up in about 6 days, the GCRN's Top 100 Transformers Characters Countdown will launch with part 1, where we give the introduction. So that's going to be.
I think I'm on that one of those podcasts, aren't I?
You're on part 3.
Okay.
I just finished editing that, and I mean, I know I'm here in front of everybody and on YouTube and all that other magical stuff, but I hope you don't mind. I cut out part of your Flint Dilley interview to put in the podcast where he's talking about where you asked him about the age-old question about Skywarp when we were talking about Bombshell and all that. Yep. So yeah, no, that was fun.
He pretty much explained it. He
nailed it.
You know, kept the trilogy going. I want to give a shout out to Elite's Reviews. Thank you for contributing to the stream. We appreciate it. Thank you very, very much.
We're splitting that 4 ways. So
no, YouTube's going to split it 4 ways because they'll take their little share.
I know, right? Yeah, it's going to be split 5 ways, right? And then it's going to be when we get to TFCon, it's like, how many drinks am I? You get in this run?
Definitely. Yeah,
but I don't even drink.
It's going to be a blast. I'm really looking forward to that. It's sneaking up, man.
Erector is number 100.
Yeah, we got 2.5.
Okay, so all right, so
we're not going to go into the list. We don't have to go.
No, you want to keep your show. Seriously, no. I'll say this: number 101, beating it by that much. Beast Wars Inferno.
And speaking of which, I just finished the video this morning. Actually,
segue.
I finished it 1:30 in the morning last night, and then I went to bed. and then I hadn't rendered it yet. So, and I couldn't get up to my computer until like 1:30 today. So then I just hit the render button, and then just let it sit for a little bit, and then I had to make the thumbnail, and then get the video up. So that was fun, and I was like, I still have other stuff I have to do.
It's almost like putting up reviews and videos is work.
Yeah.
But, you know, don't tell anybody that.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
right.
This all just comes together magically, and you know,
Like
everything works
I
out.
literally, I mean, I edited that Inferno video, and it's also I had other stuff I had to do too in between. I had the reviews, and then I had like the for He-Man and for Kingdom, and watching Net 4 or 5 times in between because I want to make sure that I'm prepared for an interview just in case. You know, I requested to speak to the showrunner of He-Man, but I didn't get that one. But I did get the one for Transformers, so I'm happy about that one.
Hey, real quick, Rodimus, before the chat goes haywire over there with like 100 people in here, are we doing spoilers for Kingdom or Masters of the
We can
Universe?
talk about whatever. I still plan on doing a full-blown spoiler review on both shows on this channel for Transformers and my second channel for He-Man, and you guys can still do yours, but it's already, the cat's already out of the bag, so I'm giving you guys heads up. We will not be holding back spoilers on He-Man and Transformers, so if you have not seen it, go watch it. You know, unless
I've been warned.
And we will be kind. So if those of you in the chat want to give your opinion, please be respectful to one another. I am perfectly fine if you hated He-Man or hated Kingdom and you want to give your opinions, but let's be civil to be, you know, guys.
Yeah, don't be like
civil.
Facebook and Twitter. Come on. Now.
Yeah,
We're not Twitter where you know I share a picture of the rotoscoping, which is, by the way, is awesome. If you've not seen the photo of the rotoscoping for He-Man, dude, that's awesome. Like I see it, I'm like, these are the people who were in costume when they were like filming making the original He-Man cartoon. And this goes to show you how they tried to be as realistic as they could for the budget that they had. And they
back in the day, rotoscoping was the thing to do. I mean, Disney was all over it. Snow White was all rotoscoped. You know, Cinderella, all that stuff was rotoscoped. It was cheaper. Film an actor and then draw over them. And you know, thankfully, and you can. It's always funny in He-Man, in the original He-Man, when you can tell the switch from rotoscope to actual just standard animation, because typically it's on like the He-Man running scenes when he like takes off and starts running.
Yeah,
it looks super smooth.
There's a meme that says if it has an apple, it has a banana, and he runs away. And he's like, "What does he say? What is that will be?" Or something like that. I've seen that meme. It's hilarious.
Yeah, the Skeletor one too. Yeah, where he runs off. Is that? Yeah, I love those.
Now,
That's the one where somebody
now
says,
if only
like,
Axel Foley would show up with the tailpipe.
So
let's look at it. That's it right there.
Yeah, that's
there.
Awesome.
It is right there. There's the actual rotoscoping. Like, these were people in costume.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's awesome. Like, and they hand drew this, and the lines on their faces was so that when they were drawing the circles for their faces, like for different characters, they knew exactly where the eye lines were, and they so that they can make sure that they had right things for the characters. The Tila costume itself, like, all accurate to what they were on screen, and I think that was phenomenal. And something that was really cool was Grimm here. Actually, I'm not gonna bring that part up, but when he replies, he shows off these really cool rotoscope drawings.
Oh, that's awesome,
dude! Like, this is how they drew it over, you know, on pencil, and did different poses for the characters. They straight up, so they drew the mustache.
That's what He-Man really should look like.
Right, with a mustache.
Right there.
You know, the running.
That's what he should have looked like in Revelation, just to make people more mad.
Like, here is the actual Skeletor guy, and you know, like, like with an axe, you know, or if he was using like dun, 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 dun.
That's
so
could be worth
awesome.
money. That could be worth a lot of money.
Getting the Skeletor face there, like just how cool that looks.
I mean, I don't
And then
want
Adam
to take
and
anything
Sheila
away. I don't
with
want to take
combat
anything away
practice.
from the digital artists and everybody that does stuff today, but the fact that we're seeing these now and the original image and all of that and everything else and just what they went through to get the technology to do what they did with those shows is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this was all. Now, another thing I found out, because I don't know if you're familiar with who James Eatock is.
Mm-hmm. Oh
He was sharing something that was really cool. It was when they hired the animators for the show back in the 80s, they would do what was called an animation test to make sure they would show the like 3 frames of animation: a He-Man on one side of the screen, He-Man over here, and then on the other side of the screen, and then in the middle, just close up, swinging his sword. And they said, they want you to draw these 3 main frames, and they want you to draw all the in-betweens leading up to those 3 main frames of animation. So lead the animation to this, lead the animation to that. And you had to draw it, and then you would get hired at Filmation. That's how you got hired at Filmation. So if you weren't good at drawing, you know, like the drawings leading up to that point, then you were not going to be working at Filmation. So anyone who tells me that the animation at Filmation was junk, could have it been shaded better? Yeah, but it was, you know, it was the 80s. You know, this is how they hand painted. They also hand painted stuff.
Yeah.
Like the animation cells were hand painted. Even the backgrounds. The backgrounds were amazing.
Yeah,
So
I loved all that. I was for the last few years in high school, I was aiming towards two options: military, or I was taking a bunch of heavy art classes and was going to go to Florida and work at Disney. Obviously, neither one of those things panned out because here I am.
First one. Yeah.
You got the first one. Yeah, life came at me fast, and neither one of those things panned out, and I ended up just working at a random friggin', I think, what did I work at? A print shop for a while. But yeah, I still draw every once in a while, but yeah, that would have been a completely different career path. FJ's in the house.
Is he now?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Hey, FJ.
Hey, FJ.
Hey, FJ.
We were talking He-Man, but we could switch the subject to Transformers since you're in the chat now, because I know FJ is not a big He-Man fan. He actually was just it was just kind of like passes.
Neither was Kevin Smith. This guy, I'm kidding.
No, he wasn't. He was a douche.
They did 65 episodes in about a year, which was unheard of. Think about that.
Yeah, that series, the original He-Man series from 83 to 85, had 130 episodes.
Yep.
130 episodes.
I still have it on my desk right here. Still have it on my desk. You know, watch an episode here and there.
I can't wait for them to screw up Mask. God, I can't wait for that. Yes.
Wait. Hold on. Stop the presses. First of all, they screwed up Mask in the first place because I spent 30 episodes. No. Seriously. You look at that cartoon series, all of the plots, almost every single episode, it's the same villain plot.
Well,
I love
everything
Mask.
was the same back then.
I do,
you can say that
but
for Transformers and He-Man. It's come on now. That's no.
There was overlap back in the 80s too. Also, some of the writers who wrote episodes on He-Man also might have wrote an episode on Transformers. Might have written an episode on G.I. Joe. Might have wrote an episode on Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
And they might have just recycled their plots.
Oh yeah.
So you might have had a similar plot, like Transformer goes to this thing, and this thing happens. Well, that's the same.
There's only 7 plots.
Wrote, yeah, so they're doing it different stories in different ways.
What I mean is from watching all 75 episodes, but I'm going to specifically talk about the 65 episodes of the original first season of Mask. It seemed like every week, and I'm going to say this only because I don't remember the actual region, but it seemed like every week they went to the same Carbamia-like town overseas to rob somebody of something. Do I love the Mask theme? Absolutely. Do I love the characters? Absolutely. Do I love the music? Absolutely. It's just the storytelling on Mask, out of all of them, from Thundercats to Voltron to Silverhawks to He-Man, Transform. I just, after watching those episodes again about 10 years ago, I'm like, this is not the cartoon. This is not as awesome as I remember it being.
Oh yeah, some don't.
None of them are.
Some don't hold their value or merit or whatever.
You know what it is that I'm enjoying maybe about He-Man a lot more now as an adult is having kids. I think having kids allows me to be able to enjoy it a lot more because I can appreciate first of all, I mean, obviously the hard work that went into these old shows, but also because it was a much more innocent time with the cartoons. Now they weren't trying to adult up the cartoon, so they were able to allow, now I can let my kids can enjoy it too, and yeah, my wife agrees that hi enjoying
Rika.
Right. So yes, she's also known as RC Rika. You can call her because RC is her favorite. One of her favorite Transformers. So, that's about when what was it? Last year was our 10th wedding anniversary. So when I did the RC video, was our 10th wedding anniversary. That was like a kind of a gift to her. So, yep.
Ours is next year is our 10th anniversary.
Mine and yours, Deluxe? Is it already that fast?
Hopefully. I hope so, man. I hope it lasts 10 years, man. How long?
I can't wait to give you a big old bear hug at TFCon.
So, let's talk Transformers and Kingdom.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
My favorite of the series.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was my favorite of the series, too. I know some people hated it. I know some people had some issues with the voices, and I had issues with some of the voices. But as a story, as an overall arching plot, I think it was fun.
Man, Rat Trap's voice was awesome, and so was Black Arachne.
Black Arachne is, and Rat Traps was on point.
Like I said, I love Black Arachne and Stormtrooper. Like I told you when we was talking on the other night with me and Rodimus.
Yep.
If they need Starscream and Black Arachne need to have
have their own series, right?
Yes, spinoff.
They were so good together. I mean, I really thought the Beast Wars and G1 really meshed well together. Like I said, Rhinox and Wheeljack worked well together. It was just really fun. And about the voice acting thing, like I said, I said in my little spoiler-free thing, I think most of us are so used to hearing David Kaye, hearing Gary Chalk, hearing Peter Cullen, that we didn't really give the new voice actors, which are going to take over, because eventually they're still going to take over. We didn't give a chance to actually appreciate their voice acting because we're so used to hearing the original voice actors.
I know where you're coming from with that, and I understand, but I mean, just certain specific characters I felt that just didn't hit the mark, I think that specifically, and I really like for those particular two characters, Optimus Prime and Beast Wars Megatron, I had to overlook them so hard to.
It was great. Yeah. I mean, when he said that, when I told you he tried to do the yes at the beginning, it just felt really flat, and so it was. I'm not saying the voice acting was great, but I'm just saying some people you got turn your brain off and say this is not our Beast Wars, this is not our G1, this is the future of what's going to happen. But like I said, I would love to have all those people on the same show. That would have been so epic. It would have been great.
What changed my mind for me about the whole thing about a lot of that was once I wrapped my head around the fact that, again, this isn't the 96 Beast Wars. It's not the same story. As soon as and spoilers, as soon as I wrapped my head around the fact that this Beast Megatron, his entire purpose for being there was just to wait for G1 Megs. Mm-hmm. That was his entire goal. It wasn't an accident. They didn't accidentally crash land there. He knew that Megatron was going to be there, and his entire purpose in life was to give this Megatron. and it took a minute for me to get used to. I think I messaged you, Rodimus, when it took me a bit to get used to seeing Beast Megatron
Be so gravelly.
grovel.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that hurts. But once you realize it's not the same thing, and he had spent his whole life bowing down and waiting for this moment to meet his namesake.
Yeah.
So it's just,
even if, let's put it this way, because it is a different timeline, his characterization I didn't have an issue with. It was just the voice. Yeah. And I think that if it was just a more fitting to the character that we're familiar with, or at least closer to it, instead of sounding like Scorponok, I think people would have been less harsh on it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I thought Rat Trap was a good. I thought his character.
I'm talking about specifically Beast Wars Megatron, just specifically that character.
Most of them kept. They're saying Rat Trap was the same. He had those one-liners. The really nice Rhinox. He had that strong.
Yep.
I
like Rhinox a lot in the series because he actually fixed the arc and he did a lot of cool stuff.
Black Arachnia was the same Black Arachnia that I think the same character and everything, but it's just the Megatron thing. And what I also want to say is they had some beautiful scenes, like I said the other night, when they're outside talking to the stars, and that was beautiful scenes. I mean, there's really some great scenes in this where it's just like, wow, that's really nice looking.
One thing that I really appreciate,
really good. I love the animation. I thought it was really good.
Two things. One, I really appreciate that Siege and Earthrise definitely led to this. I definitely felt a continuation of the story that led to this climax. So things that I may have disliked about Siege and Earthrise early on kind of were, I don't want to say fixed, but came to fruition in this one and made the whole story. Because if you look at the number of episodes, you could almost treat it as one season between the three of them. As far as what we're typical with.
In my personal opinion, it is. And at some point, we've done, over on All Things Transformers, we did a non-spoiler and a spoiler-filled episode for Kingdom, but we did one episode for Siege and one episode for Earthrise. Later this Christmas, I plan on going back and watching all three and having our co-hosts and people actually go through the whole thing as one thing. And that's how I've seen it from the beginning. Yeah.
Speaking of which, FJ, if you're listening, tell Netflix to actually get them to put it into one thing and not have to go searching for it because it makes it, because all 18 episodes should just be the War for Cybertron trilogy, and then let the 6 episodes it can be in different chapters, but it's got to be one.
Got to be one thing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not too happy with Netflix right now. I've had Netflix for God knows how long. At least a decade or more, I think. Mm-hmm. And what they are doing currently, as of the notice I got, was as of September, some date next month, I don't know, they are doing away with manual ordering. So in your list, in your My List section, you can either have it auto order, which is whatever order they think it needs to be in, or you can manual order and you can put shows above other shows. You can group shows next to each other kind of thing. They're doing away with that, and I am just so upset about it.
Yeah.
And I remember Netflix when they mailed you the disc.
Yep. Me too.
Another thing about the show real quick is what I want to see now is I want to see these Beast Wars models, and I want them to remaster Beast Wars, the original series, with these models. All the music, all the audio can stay the same or whatever. Just take these models, because Optimus Primal in Beast Mode and Cheetor in Beast Mode looked fun. The first time you see Cheetor pop up when he's spying on them at the Ark, that was awesome.
When Megatron transformed actually during the battle, I love that stuff. Bumblebee did it with when he was fighting with them, but when Megatron transformed during battle, that was awesome. I thought that was really cool.
I love the models of all the beasts. I think they looked phenomenal. But it's got to be fairly inexpensive, right? I feel like it's got to be FJ. If you're listening again, you got to get these guys to put all these models into the original Beast Wars.
Maybe tweak Black Arachnia a little.
Sure.
I thought Black Arachnia was my favorite. I love the female character. Air Razor was really good.
Air Razor was awesome.
Scene with flying from
she
Laserbeak.
Looked great. She looked fantastic.
When she was fleeing from Laserbeak, that was
that was a gorgeous scene.
Well, the lighting. The only thing is like when I first saw the image, I kind of thought it was an eagle, and I was wrong.
And I messaged you, and I was like,
you messaged
that's
me
not
because you had gotten the screener before I did. So I was like, yeah, I remember
I'm
that.
like,
I was like, no.
What's Thundercracker doing there? Why
Yeah, we didn't know if it was Thundercracker was getting sliced.
Um,
So he's asking me. So thank you very much for the super chat. But he's like, what plush do my kids want Symbiote Studios to do next? Well, is it for Transformers? If it's going to be for Transformers, it'd be cool to see an RC done, like an RC, Symbiote Studios plushie. Because I mean, we already got. I don't have Megatron yet, but I do have Optimus, Soundwave, Grimlock, Bumblebee, and Soundwave, and my kids play around with them quite a bit. And the visor for Soundwave, since it's just basically like a thing, my son always takes it off of Soundwave all the time. So it's
they always
good.
got plushes at TFCon. They always got somebody that usually
It's doing plushies.
Females, yeah, they do a whole lot of like the G1 plushies and stuff. They're really cool, really nice looking.
The female of this entire trilogy steal the show.
Oh yeah, I mean they were great. Alita 1 was awesome.
Cost a I'm guessing you're saying it would cost a fortune to redo it.
Would.
We'll crowdfund it. We'll just crowdfund it. Rodimus is buying.
with both super chats that I got,
There
right?
you
We
go.
can
I got
afford that.
I got 10.
Deluxe is going to sell that Starscream statue and fund the whole thing.
Oh man, come on now. I love that statue.
That statue would be great if it was purple and black.
Yeah, let's definitely do Elita. Who, by the way, have you heard the responses from some people that have been upset about what happened to Alita?
Yes, I've seen several things.
I was kind of annoyed at because I thought that her ending, she was kind of like a yes. That if they already did Soundwave, they have to do Sound Blaster. It's FJ's favorite character.
Yeah.
But no, if we did where was I going with
What are
this?
they grapping about? What are they grapping about her?
So the gripe was that they fridged her. They basically froze her out. They basically took away from what she was fighting for because she's dead. Because she's not technically.
Oh.
And then she basically became the guardian angel of the Allspark at the end.
So the sorcerer?
That's
kind of like the sorcerer from He-Man?
Kind of.
She basically became the Obi-Wan of the series, essentially.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see this as wrong. I just see this as, oh my God, that's a really bad joke. Somebody, I'm not going to say who, you guys have probably seen it on Twitter, put a Elita 1 figure, boxed figure, in a refrigerator. And I'm like, oh my God, did you really go there?
He did.
It really didn't touch. It really didn't hit me. When she was dead. I mean, I didn't think it was. I mean, she wasn't really a strong character for me. I mean, she was throughout the series, I'm sure. But I mean, when she died, it wasn't. I didn't think much of it.
I think with where Earthrise leaves off at the end to the beginning of Kingdom, throughout Kingdom, when they eventually get back to Cybertron, they realize that the world is still destroyed, and they find out that basically they didn't, when she was at the end of Earthrise, where she's like, I have to stay, I have to fight, somebody has to fight.
Yeah,
they lost the fight, which sucks. It absolutely sucks. I wish they didn't lose the fight, but it's just one of those things where people in characters in cartoons die. It's not. I should do a video on her.
Yeah, she was an original G1, but go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, characters in cartoons die. It's not the end of the world. Everybody up in arms because the people at Mattel Television, I will say, in overarching fashion, oh my God, they killed He-Man twice. Well, they'll probably bring him back twice too.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people like to see that. A lot of people love just Decepticons, and they do want to see the Autobots fail. They want to see them die. So I liked for them to do that. I just don't want to see I don't want to see the good guy winning all the time. Sometimes the bad guy can win too. you know.
Well, the crazy thing is, it's an American problem, because if you've watched much like anime or anything growing up, like it was characters died in other cartoons outside of the U.S. It's a really Western thing to keep the heroes alive the whole time,
Headmasters
or not age.
Blaster died, and Headmasters,
Yeah.
and
they got rebuilt, and
Soundwave, and
yeah,
they always bring them back somehow. They do. Marvel, DC kills characters all the time, and they come back. I mean,
thank you, Zero.
Well, when you have 6 episodes,
Didn't like how a lot of characters died.
oh yeah,
But-
if you only have 6 episodes, you're only, Netflix says nope, we're not going to give you 13 episodes. We're going to do 6. Now you've got to decide what to do in 6 to give weight to something.
Yep.
And one of the easiest ways to give weight to somebody is to make them sacrifice.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to.
Orko. I mean, they killed Orko. He's going to come back.
It's just
I mean,
how you have to do it.
There's a point to there. It's okay to kill characters, but their sacrifice
has to mean something.
Yes.
Yeah, when you're doing something that's this small, like when it's very compact.
Yeah.
I mean, the one shock value death in He-Man was Mossman, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That was quick,
But I
too.
think to me, Skywarp was the shock value death in Siege. That was the one where it was just like, you killed off Skywarp.
Yeah,
Like, seriously? And then Moonracer was the other one that they killed off.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a shock for Skywarp, though, I think, because Moonracer was a new character, so I think...
No, she wasn't. Moonracer was not a new character.
She was a G1. She was a G1 bot.
Sorry. Okay, I forgot. Yeah, she was on that with all the other...
She wasn't used that much. She may as well have been new.
She's never been used. That's the...
But I'm just saying Skywarp was more of a bigger shock than what Moonracer was.
They didn't have another model, so they just used the Chromia model and just kind of recolored her to make her look more like that. Yeah. Dinobot died in both shows, and it meant something. In both shows.
That was a great callback.
That worked. That was a really good. Callback. I think it was a really good homage too. Like the way they did Dinobot in Kingdom was just, it
was good. I mean, I think it meant more in the original. But it was still good. It was still done well in Kingdom. I thought, it was a nice nod. And I love, like I told you the other night, I loved how he said, would I have been a good Maximal? And then the problem was like, no. And that was
you would have been a terrible Maximal.
Yeah. A terrible Maximal. I thought that was really fun.
He was a good Maximal.
So I thought that was a great, interaction between them two. I thought that was really great.
And you had a lot more time to get to know Dinobot in the original Beast Wars too, for the death to get heavy. Yeah. But it was a great callback to that episode. It was done really well.
He says, "When did G1 end for you? In my opinion, ended after Headmasters." So, well, that depends, because are you talking G1 cartoon? Are you talking G1 going into the Japanese continuity, or are you talking, Marvel Comics? Because Marvel Comics, it's kept going until issue 80, and then even then it continued on into 3 splinter universes. You had actually 4, because you had, what was it? The UK had Earth Force, which I think was completely out of continuity. Then you had the classics, you had G2, and then you have Regeneration 1. Like, that's all continuation as far as the Marvel comic. But as far as the cartoon is concerned, Japanese has its own splinter timeline, and I'm okay with it being a splinter timeline, but I really wish, and it would be so awesome if they can actually continue G1 after what happened after the rebirth. I would love to see that. And you know what? I would love to spearhead it, because I would make sure that every single character sounds. That is one of my biggest things with if you're going to do a continuation, like the War for Cybertron trilogies is awesome because it's a different timeline, and that's how we can look at it. Yeah. You like looking at it as a different timeline. I was not only cool with how it ended, I was like, yes, I want to see how this continues now, because now you have the G1 bots mixed with the Beast Wars bots, and we can add even more characters after that. You can, do Legacy, where we bring in Star Saber and Sound Blaster back, and we can bring in Deathsaurus and Overlord, and bring all those characters in.
They could do fusers and stuff.
Right. They could do
whatever they want
if they wanted to. FJ says the Japanese continuity is the best. He's a big fan of the Japanese continuity, but I would love
That's just because you like Sound Blaster.
Yes, I would bring Sound Blaster in. I would do
good.
similar to the G1, to the anime, and
where was Sound
actually
Blaster in Kingdom? Because
he's a clone, but he was done because
okay.
they weren't just going to kill off Soundwave. They were going to, and I like that. I like that they made him a clone because it's kind of a cool, different thing. So.
Well, and it makes sense in the continuity that they set up. There were obviously a ton of different clones of multiple bots in this trilogy, so it makes sense that one of them would go off and do their own thing.
I would have liked to have seen an expanded season 3, where more Rodimus Prime leading the Autobots, before the return of Optimus.
See again, where we are now, almost 40 years later, to the overall franchise. There's nothing we can do to change what they did back then, and for what they did. Regardless of the anime, I forget. It's like season 1, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I forget which one. In one of them, Optimus's animation model is he's like trapped somewhere. He's all
talking about SOS Dinobots.
It's in SOS Dinobots. So, but say what you will about the animation.
Don't out trivia me, Mike. Should know better.
Not trying to. I'm just saying, like, part of going through and making our top 100 countdown is I've gone through all 98. I have actually every single second of audio besides intro and outro music. Mm-hmm. I've recorded through Audacity all 98 episodes, and I have all of them on my computer because I have to go through and get every kind of character quote that I can find for wherever the 100 characters. So I've seen all of these things in the last 3 or 4 weeks a lot, and the storytelling that we got back then was really good. I am on board with somebody doing something after Rebirth, but for me personally, it has to be that original animation style. I don't know if you do a sequel series and do it the way that some of the other Transformers series have been done since then would work well.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things about Masters Universe Revelation that was kind of like, okay, you're upping the animation, but you're completely shifting what the characters like, look, feel, act, everything when this is supposed to be a sequel, or it was originally sold as a sequel.
You know what
I
I've
see what he's saying
considered.
because they're too clunky.
And I'm just saying. Go ahead. What was that, Deluxe?
I think that what Mike was saying, that I think the animation now, they're too big and clunky. Like the thighs, the legs are a little more bigger and stuff. It's just they look. I don't know the way they ran, which I don't know why you're running when you can transform into a car, but the way they ran, it looked weird. Like it was just like slow mo, like and like that. When we grew up, the animation was it looked more cleaner, more smooth. Kind of a thing.
We got to remember something about the way that it was animated back in the 80s, even with Toei animating it. Well, most of the episodes, Toei animated most of the episodes, was that they were already an anime studio. Mm-hmm. So, so they thank you very much for the super sticker. Like they were already an anime studio, so they were already used to animating characters in motion. Mm-hmm. So there was a little bit more fluidity. The biggest thing the biggest hurdle that FJ had to deal with, and I think that all the people working on that show had to deal with, was they had to make character models.
Yeah.
And they had to make character models that transformed into a vehicle. And
those 3D character models are expensive.
Yes, they are.
That's why we only have in total 18 episodes amongst the 3 chapters.
You know what Kingdom did really well? I think probably better than the other 2. They disguised those transformations a lot better in Kingdom. So like the off-screen transformations, the transformation inside of a smoke cloud, you hear the transformation sound, and you see their different mode. It was done really well, masking the transformation, so you got to see both modes, but they didn't have to foot the bill for all the transformation models. Exactly. And I thought it was done really clever in Kingdom.
Didn't you point out the other night that they about the transformation with the Beast Wars and they had the same sound as the G1?
They did, yeah. Remember, I know.
I
They
didn't really
they
notice
had
that until, yeah.
some of the other guys that we were talking with. Yeah, they didn't care for it. I didn't mind it because I knew that this was I knew this was done differently anyway to begin with. But I mean, it was a little weird at first to hear that instead of hearing Optimus Primal maximize, boom, chum,
Yeah.
chum, 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 instead we hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Which I didn't really even. I wasn't even paying attention. I thought it just.
I thought it went pretty smooth.
Yeah.
I mean, the Megatron transformation I think was pretty cool, like the way that
was.
But
like I said, when he was battling, when they was fighting each other up on the hill or whatever mountain, and he transformed during the battle scenes, man, he could have been, he could have been a badass. I mean, I thought he was a badass anyway. He was taking on, just like I love Galvatron and Nemesis. I thought their characters were really good.
kicked
I
ass, dude.
wish
That
we
was
saw more
awesome.
of those. I wish we saw more, especially Nemesis. We saw him at the end, but Galvatron was good. But I think Megatron, the Beast Megatron, could have been a badass. It's just his voice and just the way he was groveling all the time, which that's what he was. That's what his character was, and I understand that. But man, he could have been a bad. I think he could have took on all the Maximals by himself.
Yeah.
In my head canon, Beast Megatron was toying with him the whole time. There was one scene. There's one scene where Beast Megatron is there when Beast Megatron and G1 Megatron are talking, and G1 Megatron sends Starscream out, and Beast Megatron sends Dinobot out. Just before he looks over at Dinobot and kind of smiles and nods. It was just that 1 second right there that I was like, man, there's something. He's not as a cheese ball as he's making it out to be. There's something else here. So I'm hoping that if this continues, that we get to see a bit more of that Beast Megatron, that he's messing around a little bit and got something up his sleeve.
He knows more than he was leaning on. Yeah.
He was kicking tail, and then that his whole thing was what was the thing? What was that? He just went in charging in T-Rex mode and just smashed people. The Beast transformations. We asked Hasbro about that, and they asked us to use the classic sound. Okay, so that was a Hasbro decision,
and I'm all for that. Honestly, so the comment I saw somewhere on social media was, I love Beast Wars and I love the Beast Wars transformation sound, but ew, hearing the Generation 1 sound from the Beast characters, oh my god, I hate this show. I cannot stand people like that. I try not to promote hate or dislike or any of that kind of stuff. I try my best not to. But people that act like that oh my god, that sound sucks. I thought it was fluid. I thought it was fine. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was cool. I was like, yeah, transformation sound. I have a couple of years ago, about a decade ago now, I went onto eBay because I wanted to see if anybody actually had a compact disc. Yes, folks in the chat, compact discs used to be a thing, not just these MP3 things, but I wanted to see if somebody on eBay back in 2008, 2009 had a disc with all of the original Generation 1 sounds, clean and clear.
Oh, nice.
Not a lot of. I have all of that, and I use them all of the time. The original G1 up and down transformations, I have those, and I have everything else. And whatever it was that FJ and them and the sound designers for the War for Cybertron trilogy used is more than fine for every bot that you have on that cartoon for me.
Oh
yeah. I mean, the transformation sound. I was so glad to hear it, in the Siege. Series, because what was it in Prime, and I think Animated used it, or used a modified version of it.
They used a modified version of it.
Yeah.
In Prime, it was more realistic because they were, I could be wrong about this, I don't know. I think they were kind of going off of what the movie sound effect was a little bit. And it's been almost it's almost been a decade since Transformers Prime.
When did he eat? Which Decepticon did he eat? I forgot.
Oh, what?
Which
one did he said Beast Wars Megatron ate a Decepticon? I forgot which one and when did he do that? Was it the fight scene, I guess, up there when he up on the mountain? That's the only one I can think of. I don't know.
I'm trying to remember.
I've seen it like 5 times and I can't remember that.
I know, right? There were awful lot of casualties that day.
What was it?
That's my answer to that one. There were an awful lot of casualties that day.
Yes, there are.
I just don't remember him eating. No, I thought he was good. I mean, I thought he was badass. He could have been. I think that, he was a great. I thought he was a good.
Oh,
character.
he ate a seeker. We'll have to watch it.
Did he?
I'll have to watch. Yeah.
Maybe it
Okay.
was one of just
It was one of the clones, probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it was just
Yeah.
one of the random.
I had to go back and remember it. I think it would have been on the big battle on the mountain or something on the mountainside.
So you guys mentioned Nemesis Prime, and I don't know if any of you guys remember or knew this person. An old friend of mine, Optimus Scourge. He this September is his 10-year anniversary of his passing, sadly. But his name was Gary Clark. He was on the TFW boards all the time and everything, and he went by Optimus_Scourge, and he loved Nemesis Prime. He would have just been so giddy to see Nemesis Prime in this cartoon.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
FJ
He was
says
a good
we got the
character. I
sounds
thought
direct from
we needed
Hasbro.
more. We needed more of him. I think he was a great character.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he was on the screen, him and Galvatron were. I mean,
They were a great duo.
It was just so cool seeing them.
And I loved that in the very beginning, first the introduction scene between Autobots and Maximals. I thought that
was good too.
That fight was awesome. Seeing Rhinox go head to head with Hound,
rimming through them. Oh,
yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
But what I really I forgot where I was going with that. But seeing how they interacted in the beginning and getting to know each other in the beginning, it was a pretty obvious thing that was going to have to happen. They were going to be upset or whatever. But setting foreshadowing the Nemesis Prime thing with Primal saying, thinking that Prime was Nemesis.
I do remember now.
Great.
Sorry, just tweaked my memory because yes, on the mountain. I'm sitting there thinking about it like now, but think that Seeker was Iron Storm. Yeah, he literally turned into beast mode and just chomped down on him. I think I remember.
Okay.
I think I remember that.
I don't remember. I mean, if he did, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Does that mean transform?
That
was a great line.
I love when Rattrap said, "What's up with the truck bot?"
Oh yeah. What's up with the truck bot?
Yeah.
What's wrong with the truck?
Yeah.
As far as my opinion on the voices, we've already all made our opinions known about Beast Megatron, and that is what that is. That's who they got for it. That's fine. I understand the show was non-union, and that's fine. Ever since Cyberverse, I have really dug Jake as Optimus. He's not Peter Cullen. He's not anybody else. He tries a little bit. The only problem I have with Jake as Optimus is when he tries to get emotional and he tries to go up here like this. Like when he tries that, I don't necessarily like that, but I understand why it's done that way. But I love him when he's just that soft talking leader. And then Marnoka as Megatron. I know this is going to be blasphemy to say, but heaven forbid anything happen. Personally, I feel Jason is the person to take G1 Megatron until he can no longer voice him, because I really dug that. And I loved how they specifically said, hey, this is your future. And we have a slight variation with the Galvatron because it's Marnoka doing both.
Yeah.
So, I like that slight variation.
I thought he did a good job. I thought Megatron sounded fine. I mean, throughout all three of the series, I thought he was good.
Yeah.
I thought Galvatron when he mixed it up with Galvatron, I thought that was a good Galvatron too as well. So I had no problem with Megatron at all.
Yeah, I do like him as Megatron. I wouldn't mind hearing either him or Frank Welker. I think we would all everyone's going to love Frank Welker, but the thing I don't care for with Jake is that it sounds more like a Peter Cullen impersonation when he's doing the soft speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just, because he's not able to keep the voice even in angry moments, he literally turns into Batman. And that's what it sounds like.
When he was yelling,
and it just it doesn't stay consistent as Optimus, and that takes me right out of the character. Like that was like, and I heard it so often in Earthrise that it was like, like, why is he sounding like this? Why does what is it that he sounds like this?
Yeah.
But personality wise, I mean, he's obviously trying to keep. I think in Kingdom, like Optimus starts to become a better character. I think during Kingdom, it's just specifically.
Are you trying to say? I mean, because sometimes you could tell he was trying to sound like Peter Cullen, and then sometimes he wasn't. So the mix mash is like try to sound one way.
When he would go angry, like, or he would like start to like be in a battle scene. He literally turned into where were the other drugs going? Or this shitty show.
I'm not your enemy.
Yeah, I am not your enemy.
It was just a mix-up, one way you sound this way, and when he screamed, people were making fun of that too. Like it's like that wasn't Optimus Prime.
The line that I think that hurt the character for me was "Tell me that you forgive me."
Oh, Earthrise.
Yeah, that was the line that was just like.
But he kept saying it too. He didn't say it one time. He kept saying it. I think he said it a couple of times, didn't he? Something about
it was when he had the gun pointed at Optimus. I mean, at Megatron, and it was like,
okay,
yeah, that was a little. But again, they're voice actors. They're doing the best job that they can, and I understand that. And it's it is what it is. I'm not gonna like. There's only in my history, there's only one person that I have never enjoyed as Optimus Prime, and that was Neil Kaplan. But that's just me personally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
is it because he was doing a Peter Cullen impersonation, basically?
Yeah, kind of. And I don't see I understand where you guys are coming from as far as where Jake was trying at times, but again,
we forgive you, FJ. We forgive you.
Forgive you. I need to go back to the bar and go gone at 7 or something. I don't know. Yes, it's not you, FJ. We get it. I mean, it is you, but it isn't you.
Yeah.
You know what? It's one of those things. That's the problem, having somebody that show runs the show in a chat. It's like, oh crap, what can I say now?
Oh, FJ's great.
I've talked with FJ about it. I've talked to FJ about this. And the thing is that I don't. Like, he knows, we're not sitting here trying to attack. There's so many people that are just being like so mean and so vindictive.
And that has never been my intention.
I've never been on board for that. You can absolutely judge a show based on its merits.
Yeah,
the good and the bad. You hated this about the show. You really loved this about the show. If the show was terrible, the show is terrible, which I do. I enjoyed the trilogy as a whole, and I think Kingdom was the best of the three. Followed by Siege and then Earthrise. That's my opinion of those three, and I still stand by that. And I think that what they did with Kingdom was awesome, man. That and what Kato, I'm really jealous of, has behind him. Was an amazing scene in Kingdom. That arc transforming. Even if people sit there and say whatever they want to say about it, it was cool. That was awesome. Just awesome.
How do you have the blue Optimus Prime from SOS Dinobots, Kato? What is that? Is that really a blue Optimus Prime?
Kato's going to have to get that for you.
Wait a minute.
There goes Megatron.
That's his.
Oh, it's Captain America Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's awesome. What that is.
That is
awesome. It's a monster of a robot back there.
Holy crap! Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I was just talking about.
We have a video. We have a video of Inutabi dancing with that.
Yeah, I wish I can't show it right now. But I mean, I can show it. I just can't show it on this stream.
To go back with he said. I'm sure he read the Facebook. I'm sure he reads all that stuff and everything. And you can't give. You can't give
this
your
is
opinion.
Why we love you, FJ.
You can give your opinion, but at least have a respectful opinion. Don't sit there and tell you're trash, blah blah this and everything. Like, hey, look, this is what I liked about it. This is what I didn't like about it.
Mm-hmm.
But be respectful. And these guys working work hard on this stuff and everything. And if it ain't for you, that's fine. But don't be an asshole.
I have a recent video on that very subject. If you guys would like to watch afterward.
So sure. I mean, it's just there's a way to be a critic, just be like this is what I like, and then but don't be but that's not It's always going to be there. There's always trolls.
Yeah,
you
always.
just have to weed them
You have
out.
to ignore
Like,
the internet trolls.
Yeah, you have to just weed them
We need
out.
to get FJ an arc.
All right,
He
FJ.
wants it too.
Wait a minute. Stop. FJ, how has Hasbro not sent you an ARC bot yet?
I know, right?
Come on,
They should have sent you every one of them.
I know, right? Like you should have one of those whole giant, promotional kits like Rodimus
Dude.
got.
No, do you guys not know? And FJ has told me this story. He had to order because Hasbro only did the sound blaster that was battle damaged, and right. He wanted the one that had the mercenary symbol on it, and that's the one that the Japanese exclusive did. So he ordered it from Japan, in order to get his sound blaster. Yeah. So he's like, I had to get it. I don't care. I don't care if I have to pay double for it. Like I have to get my sound blaster. So like, and you know what? I like that was like one of the coolest moments. I was just like, dude, this is like, having a fan who's just this dedicated to like collecting and having this awesome stuff as well, and is working on a Transformer show fills me with joy enough to know that people who love this franchise have been working on it.
People
and
can say anything they want about the series, about what they like and dislike, like we were saying earlier. Don't be a douche. There's no sense in attacking someone. But one thing you cannot say is that this wasn't run by a fan. Like FJ is a fan of
Look at
the
the
series.
papers. Michael Bay, and I was at BotCon when they introduced they put him in the Hall of Fame, and he said himself he didn't know anything about Transformers when he took on it.
Are y'all hearing this thunder outside of my house right now?
Wow. Hold on. Somebody who worked at Mainframe in the past. Animation production is always a balancing act of time and quality. Overall, War for Cybertron was awesome. How about a remaster with new voice actors?
Oh, okay. Look. All right. People have to understand. There is Union, which is Frank Welker, Peter Cullen, all of those.
It isn't even that. You got to pay every single one of them. It comes with a price tag.
Right.
They all come with a price tag.
But exactly. That's my point. People saying with the whole, can we get the real actors or there's no real or fake actors, folks. There's just different actors doing different things of the same characters.
I know.
Finished the show. Got 6, man.
He just finished the show. He cut him some slack. He just finished the show.
That means they're working on it then.
Maybe. Who knows?
I don't know.
Put FJ in the fridge. No one puts FJ in a corner, right? No one puts FJ in a corner.
Nobody puts baby.
Oh God. I would say if Swayze was still alive, maybe we can get a baby moment with FJ and Swayze, but no.
Awesome. Hey,
I'm gonna mail you my ARC. If I mail you my ARC, will you sign it?
Oh. Then make him send it back to you? That's messed up, man.
No, he's gonna keep it. He'll keep it.
He just said he wanted an ARC, and here you go. I'll send you mine. You gotta sign it.
But you give it back.
You
give it back to me.
Yeah, no. Here's what you do, Kato. You sign it, send it to him.
There you go.
That'd be worth even more money.
Yeah, that just devalued the entire thing.
Are you guys big into autographs when it comes down to meeting voice actors or meeting like people who worked on a show? I'm not big on signatures much anymore. I'm more about like having a picture with the person. To me, that's more sentimental.
Yeah.
Than an autograph, because an autograph, it's like you stick it under the fridge somewhere, whereas I can pull up a picture with me with Kurt Angle or Tatanka or with Gary Chalk or Greg Berger.
I used to be. I have Peter Cullen's signature 4 times, I think. And I have a picture I showed y'all in our little chat.
He'll keep your ARC.
When I met him at BotCon, and that picture, alone will always be. That will always stay with me because I think that was a great moment. I actually got to talk with him a little bit, so we had a one-on-one conversation. Instead of just getting an autograph, you had to hurry up, and everything because there's a certain amount of time. But I actually got to sit there and talk to him for about 10 to 15 minutes and got a picture, and that's awesome. But the only person I really, really want an autograph is Frank Welker. That's the only one I'm really
definitely.
That's about the only one. Other than that, like I said, I've got Peter Cullen a couple times already. And
oh, wow, you can hear that thunder.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, I'm actually probably going to hop off of here real quick because it's lightning really bad. So I'm going to start unplugging stuff. But if you guys are still
was
on,
in Kingdom.
I'll be back.
Guys, Silverbolt was in Kingdom.
Yeah, he was.
The wolf that you heard
Yeah.
was
You just never. Yeah.
that was Silverbolt,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
unless FJ sits here and tells us it wasn't. For me, as far as autographs go, I would rather spend whatever time I can spend with them on a Skype session or something. Because for me, with podcasting, I do audio podcasts. I don't do this video stuff. I just cannot do. I break cameras. I don't even have a camera on my computer. So for me, it's like if I can get Frank Welker to give me a cricket on the other side of the room, that would be great. If I could get Peter Cullen to say all things Transformers is a booby trap filled with boobies, that would be great. So for me, it's all about the audio and about maybe getting them on for an interview. That's how I look at autographs, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I'm going to add this to the stream real quickly.
Uh-oh.
But
hey.
Hello.
Special guest. Holy
special
crap.
guest.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, you poor suckers letting me on here. You should have known better.
I know.
Uh-oh.
Be nice.
I am always nice to your guests. You know that.
I mean,
Yes.
come on. With a lion face like that, how can he not be nice? He's always showing his teeth.
There is a story behind that, but I don't know if it'd be appropriate for this channel. Nothing gross. Just it's a long story, but appreciate the invite, Rodimus. Hope you're all doing well. I've actually been watching a lot of Deluxe's stuff lately. It's been very entertaining.
I'm so sorry, man.
Poor Deluxe. Oh, you're doing awesome, dude. You're bringing
I've been
up that
watching Leo's
channel.
stuff too, man. I've been I didn't catch up a little bit. I watched some of his older stuff. I'm like, man, he's got a personality. He has a personality.
That's the most polite way you can put it.
I was like, wow, that's some intense stuff. Really intense.
The interesting thing about once you subscribe to somebody new, like once you hit that subscribe button for the first time on YouTube, your home screen, at least on the YouTube app on my Android phone, the home screen will then pull up videos from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years beforehand.
Yeah.
In case you didn't see this, I'm actually trying to go through here and see if I can see on my main page any Lio videos.
Oh, you poor soul.
Oh, stop it. I do agree with you, though. Your video, this was, I guess, a year ago or maybe more. The leadership video you did.
Yeah.
Optimus and Rodimus.
That's still farming salt, man.
I said no salt, margaritas, no salt.
I have people come in today still angry about that. Like, how dare you criticize Optimus? I'm like, somebody needs to stop you. I'm like, how?
So just to catch everybody up in the chat that may have shown up, because I only have our actual video thing pulled up. I don't have the YouTube page pulled up. And to catch Lio up, over at my podcast network, the Geekcast Radio Network, we are embarking on our 7th Top 100 Characters Countdown project, and we're doing Transformers. So what this is we get, for this specific one, we got 33 people. I wish we could have gotten more, but it is what it is. It's all said and done. We each make
Oh, Princeton, you're awesome.
Dude,
Nice.
in my
Awesome.
late 40s, saw the Transformers movie. G1 will be my G1 and nothing to replace it. I did enjoy the series, even with flaws. They get the vibes of G1 and Beast Wars. Thank you very, very much, Princeton.
Princeton
Wow.
failing.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
He's a good
Thank
dude.
you.
He follows. I mean, he's always in the chat. Usually, if anybody goes live, he's always there. He's a great guy.
Yep. He's a channel member of mine and a great guy. I think I don't want to speak out. I know he's a different channel member of a few of us. Really, really good dude. Always there to support. He's awesome.
So we get multiple people for the Transformers Characters Countdown. We got 33 in total lists together. We each make our own personal top 100 list. So we list 100 characters of Transformers over multiple generations.
Wow.
The one thing with Transformers is, because we didn't want 17 different versions of Optimus Prime or Megatron or whatever, we said that unless it's a major character difference, like there's a huge difference between G1 Optimus and Shattered Glass Optimus. Shattered Glass Optimus is evil. He's whatever. For me personally, because I am the Rodimus fan that I am, Optimus Prime was at 51 on my personal list.
Wow.
Oh, you're
Wow.
gonna hear about that. You're gonna hear about that. 51, really?
Yep.
I know you still have my list that I sent you, Mike, but my list specifically was more just the character as they are in the franchise, not in like for me.
Right.
So like I was trying to look at it from the perspective of if they were like, instead of going like my favorite character is Rodimus Prime. So of course he would be my number one, but you know, like I didn't put him as my number one because he's not like, you know, when you think of brand, like the franchise, like, you know, Rodimus Prime is a character that is like a different for a different type of audience, I guess you could say. Like for me, I love Rodimus Prime, love the character. Would love to see a series take place that has him as leader. You know, especially with a new toy coming out.
Oh man, I'm not into the toy game anymore as much as I used to be. But I tell you, if there was one toy I would want, it would most definitely be that Commander class.
Well, you know, Rodimus was in Kingdom. He was the one there killing Optimus. You know, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's not kidding.
You got 3 months to keep that opinion. Let me tell you something.
Dude, I'm gonna be on the side more. I'm gonna be yelling World Star on the side whenever y'all start fighting.
You know I don't mean that.
I know.
Why I order?
Hey, congratulations, stop motion reviewer. You hit 1,000 subscribers, man. Congratulations.
Oh, awesome. Nice job. Very nice
awesome.
job.
Yeah, congrats, dude.
My second channel is got 800 more viewing hours until it gets monetized for my second channel.
Very nice.
So, you know something? I'm going to say this for as far as a character development is concerned. The problem is that they killed off the character. You know, not so much they killed him, but they made Optimus come back, and it didn't give him his you know,
he didn't get his chance.
Yeah, like he grew into the character. You know, he grew into the character towards the end. Like Burden Hardest to Bear was that final moment where he was like, finally, I'm the leader. I'll never be Optimus Prime. I'm going to be my own bot.
Right. And then all of a sudden, some kid cried in their Cheerios and Skylinks did something stupid, and you have to have the return of Optimus Prime.
Man, could you imagine if the internet would have been around in the 80s?
Send him his
so much, FJ.
Please no. Oh my God, that would have been.
Take care, FJ.
Okay, so
thanks, FJ.
Dude, that would have been.
We love you, FJ.
But do you think
I'm gonna
that,
slap you on Kato.
Do you think that if the internet would have been around in the 80s, do you think the dying of Optimus Prime would have had such an impact like it did?
It would have. It would have been ugly. It would have been so ugly.
It would have been so ugly. It's so funny, and I only have told this to several different people. I don't know how I would ever write it, so if anyone wants to help me do this, that would be fine. I've always wanted to create some sort of story where the birth of social media was 1982, and we lead up to where we are now currently. Coronavirus and Donald Trump included, sadly.
Wait, lead up. We wouldn't have anything left. We would have nuked it a long time ago. Because you would have had, like, I don't know, Reagan just say something not even related to Russia, and Russia would be like, well, that's it, guys, fire the nukes, and we'd be dead.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, really, I'm going to take off real quick. I'm going to let this storm pass. If you guys are still on in a bit, I'll hop back in.
Okay.
Because things are happening around here. Not quite like, you know, what happened up there with you the other day.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, yeah. I'll tell the story after you leave, but
thanks. Tell it after I leave. That's fine. That's whatever.
No, I mean because you're about to bounce. I don't want you to like.
Yeah, I am about to bounce, but if you guys are on after this passes, I'll hop back in.
All right.
Thanks, Mike. Cool. Thanks, Convoy Deluxe. You know I love you. I'm gonna kiss you on the mouth.
Nice to meet
Bottomus, you're
I'll
awesome.
talk to you later.
Thanks.
I'll be back.
Stay, Kato. So yeah, no, my area had I had tornadoes coming through the area, which is unusual for New Jersey.
Very.
Yeah.
You know, and
Usually it's hurricanes.
Yeah, we had like I was getting warnings on my phone, and I'm like, the heck is going on here? Like apparently like 10 miles south of me, there was a tornado that ran through, and there was a tornado 10 miles north of me that ran through.
Wow.
So it was a massive thunderstorm, and it was just crazy. And I'm like, the heck is going on? Like, and that's unusual for New Jersey. Really, really. I mean, we get bad thunderstorms, but nothing where it's like tornadoes are touching down left and right. So it was like a freak. Stuff. It was a freak storm. So I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, Cato hit you up and like, hey, you got some tornadoes. And you're like, what?
Yeah, I was like, so I was like, okay,
like, no,
yeah, right.
Up a little thing and said, there's a weather advisory for y'all that y'all having tornadoes up there, and you're like, oh, okay, well maybe I need to go look outside.
I know, right?
We get them down here in the south all the time. That's what we get is tornadoes.
So
where are you, Deluxe?
Fear of the fire wrath of God.
Oh yes. Arkansas is Tornado Alley.
Oh yeah, Arkansas, Oklahoma, South, Alabama, Mississippi, all that way, Tennessee.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You missed Cato. He had a run. It's all good. He'll be back.
He'll be back probably.
He'll be back. That's if we're still on him. If we're still chatting.
I don't know. It's Sunday. We didn't get any. Oh, we did. We got rain a couple yesterday or day before. Yeah. Okay. So he's getting what we had. Okay. I got you.
I have to tell you guys, it is an extreme misconception when media ever shows a plane flying over from like Montana into the state of I know that doesn't exactly connect, but flying over from east to west, and you get from whatever the state next to Washington State into like Seattle, flying into Seattle. It doesn't just turn to clouds and rain. Trust me, I know. It's
it's always raining in Washington or Seattle.
I'm in Vancouver, so I'm 3 hours south of Seattle. But it's one of those things where that's what I thought too. I thought it was always raining in this state. And at the end of June, we had a 1 in 1,000 year heat dome. Oh my God, this weather! I moved out here because I wanted temperate weather.
Hey, Larkin, that's good, dude. I love Larkin.
Weather can get crazy, but let's.
Hey, Leo, what'd you think of? Ask Leo what he thought of.
Did you see Kingdom yet, Lyle, or no?
I have not had the time to be.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay.
No, but I'm pretty sure I know what I'm gonna think because I've been. I think the polite way to say it would be nonplussed by what we've gotten from anything Machinima and Transformers related, and now we're into Rooster Teeth territory. And personally, I think that like. The old roving storytellers in Japan with like different pieces of block wood tell a better story with better animation. So that's just my personal value. I got the hot spicy takes here. So
and that's what you can get on his channel too, right there. What he just said.
This is why we brought you on, Lyle, because we can have differing opinions. That's the whole idea.
Is it Lio Convoy or Leo? I always call him Leo Convoy.
It's Lio. I always
it's Lio. And here's how you can tell. There's no E in it.
That's true. Okay, that's a Southern thing. I guess I'm just
it's
Arkansas education right there.
Okay, Deluxe. Let me ask you a question. How do you pronounce the word ITALIAN?
I don't know. Italian.
There, thank you. Italian. You got to say Italian. It's not Italian. I don't know how many Southerners I got to sit there and go, what are you talking about here? It's Italian. What's going on here? You realize I'm an Italian from New York, right?
Italian. Yeah, I never said Italian. That's no. But I always say Leo Convoy for some reason. I don't know.
It's because in some cases, people look at Lio, they automatically think Leo, or there have been times the Lio Convoy has been brought to America, renamed Leo Prime. But because the Japanese word is Lio Convoy, it's not the I instead of E.
Gotcha. Okay.
When it comes to the Netflix Transformers, because primarily I focused on Siege, the one I've been able to actually get a video out about, there's some pacing issues with a lot of things. The characterization is completely off. We all know the voice acting is going to be terrible for the most part, except for Starscream's voice actor. That's beautiful. I love that. But all the other voice actors are going to be bad because they're anti-union, but not for like ideological purposes, but because that costs money and they don't want to spend money. So I have a lot of
Netflix actually, specifically for the War for Cybertron. It was actually Netflix who financed the show. So I found that out was that they gave them a certain amount of money for animation, for voicing, and everything was an amount, and they had to figure out how much money it cost specifically. So I understand. I mean, that's the reason why they couldn't get the big names or get the union voice actors for certain characters, and that was their reasoning behind it. I'm not 100% agreeing with the choices, but
yeah. But did they have to go for YouTubers? Because if you're gonna be a voice actor, you have to know how to act. These people, they didn't learn how to act. I mean, listen to any of Optimus's lines. It sounds like he's yelling it into a plastic bag. What it is it's like what a 5-year-old thinks Optimus Prime looks and sounds like. It's Optimus. We've got this problem. People are dying. Well, in a crisis, it's important to be calm at all times. Okay, but there are people on fire and dying. We'll get there when we get there. I need to get yelled at by Alita for the 4th time today. I'll be back.
Hey, Catherine Campbell, I'm excited for Rise of the Beast. I'm excited for anything Transformers.
I will say that out of all of them on the voice cast, Tadaro is easily the best and the one that knows the most, and that's fine as far as I know Marnosha just went in and did the voice. Like Jason from interviews I've seen with him elsewhere, that he's like, yeah, I just went in and did the voice, and that's fine. So he really wasn't trying to do an impression. But Frank, man, we spend an hour talking to Frank. We have an interview over on geekcastradio.com with him before Kingdom came out, and he's just super fun. He loves all of this stuff. He knows all of this stuff, and his Starscream. I was going to rate the Starscream voice actors: Lotta, Bloom, Tadaro, Kenny, and then the guy from Beast, Parker, Doug Parker would be last.
I mean, if they really wanted to have some fun with it and wanted to go cheap, they could have just hired Jobby.
I mean, I don't know.
It would have been more entertaining if nothing else.
Oh yeah, it would have been entertaining. Yeah.
But it seems like the lines and the way they were delivered, it's almost like they were trying to ape what happens in like Japanese dialect and how things tend to pace out for like anime. But they just it started to sound like Captain Kirk Transformers, and not real Captain Kirk.
I heard that a lot too.
Not real Captain Kirk, like what everybody thinks Captain Kirk sounded like. And this has happened now. What? Since I have not seen Kingdom, at least 5 times. That's how the dialogue is played out. And I don't get how many times you have to tell these people this sucks and does not work for them to really realize, maybe this sucks and doesn't work. It's irritating.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than the Machinima stuff. I know that. It's better than Combiner Wars, and I think this series.
What's crazy is that in the Machinima series, they actually hired the high-end voice talent. You know?
Yeah, but it was just
To me, I think it was more the voice direction. You know?
Yeah, that's the other problem. If you get a voice director that doesn't know the property, even if you're going in a different direction, even if you're taking like you take our favorite Rodimus, you take him and you take him in a direction that he's never been taken before, you still have to know the overall backstory of what the character is like in order to inform your voice actor of how you want it to sound. Somebody said I forget who it was. Somebody said on Twitter the other day, like, oh yeah, I remember Judd Nelson was in Cyberverse, and I'm like, wait, what? Judd Nelson was in Cyber? Yeah, he was Hot Rod, and I'm like, wait, really? I like Cyberverse. I will say for storyline purposes that I think Cyberverse is something everybody, like kids and everybody else, should see, kind of thing, because it's for everybody more so. But I didn't remember Judd Nelson in Cyberverse.
I don't think that was Judd Nelson in that series.
Really?
Judd Nelson was in the Machinima series.
Oh, maybe that was it.
Yeah. Travis Arts was Hot
That's
Rod.
right. Yeah.
Travis Arts was his name. And some of the voice talent in Cyberverse was okay. It was for what the show is aimed at,
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the wiki now, but like it's different. But I will say this, like Earthrise I didn't care for at all. Kingdom I think was, of the three, and I've said this now a couple of times, is that I really enjoyed Kingdom as a whole. If you actually get a chance to sit down and watch Earthrise, Lio, which is gonna hurt because you're probably I know that like the day that you finally sit down and watch Earthrise, I'm probably gonna get a Facebook message. So I watched Earthrise. Like I'm gonna get that from you.
No, all you're gonna get from me, I not watched Earthrise, is like a very angry, like red filtered image of the Doom guy. That's what you're gonna get. Man, literally too angry to die.
With the God eyes.
Yes.
God mode in Doom.
That's funny.
I can see that happening.
Yeah.
Really.
But
I can really see that.
I will say, yeah, Kingdom. Some of the voices in Kingdom, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but just to repeat, I didn't care for a lot of the voices in Kingdom, but most of the characters were done really well, and I think that even though it was a speed run of Beast Wars with meeting G1 characters with a whole new subplot, it was done pretty cool, and the final episode with the big battle between Nemesis and Galvatron was just phenomenal.
Really
like that was
really
just cool. And the whole arc transformation scene.
We punched the crap out of the what's the ship? What's the Nemesis?
Nemesis, yeah.
When he punched the crap out of the Nemesis, I thought it was pretty cool. He uppercutted it. I think when he went, yeah, it's like the slow mo, like
it was like.
The question though is, who here has been reading the Beast Wars comic?
No,
I heard it's pretty good.
I read the first two issues, didn't care for it.
I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I haven't got around to it.
I've been reviewing it over on one of my podcasts, and I dig what Eric is writing. I dig what Josh is drawing. They are doing a twist on season. We were talking earlier before Lio got here about potentially having the Netflix people redo the Beast Wars animation stuff, whatever. They're never going to do that. No. But, what they're doing with the IDW comic is they're taking Beast Wars Season 1 and doing it in different ways, in different directions. Like they're taking the story, like it's a young Optimus Primal. It's not, it's the same guy, but it's cool. I found it interesting. I'm interested to see where this next arc goes now that they're done with the first one.
I found that most people that get put off by the comic are put off primarily by the art.
Oh, I love Josh's art, and the art's going to change with this new arc. They have, starting in issue 7, they have Winston Chan, who I've never heard of, but
well, the art is serviceable. I mean, I get it. It's a stylistic thing, but I think like years ago there was an artist on Power Girl, and for every issue he make her bust bigger to see if people would notice, and I think that's what this artist is doing with the crest on Optimus's helmet. Because it's like getting into Doug Dimmadome levels of ridiculous.
Yes. It's funny. It's funny.
That's yeah. That was the thing with Power Girl, is it? Like she was the character that everybody was like, what are they doing with this? And nobody ever paid attention to it. Why? Because the audience probably loved it.
Yeah. They found a way to work it into a narrative though. So that's whoever's writing credit, so that's a plus. But I've just been watching how things going. I'm hoping to pick up the Worlds Collide set from Target simply because my very first Decepticon toy that I remember getting was Fangry, so I got to get that.
Right.
I've got to get Fangry.
I don't go to many Targets out here. And they're
a mess. They're a mess because especially on the weekends for some reason. And Walmart started this, and Target's picked up on it because they're.
Yeah, where is he? I don't know if he was able to. Patriot Prime, I didn't know if he was able to come into the stream.
He said he was eating somewhere the last time he said something in the chat. I don't know.
I sent the invite in our Facebook chat.
Yeah,
so.
you said it a long time ago.
No, they've been letting people like solicit in their stores, and I'm like, I came here to shop, not to get other people to try to get me to buy another service. Get away. Go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I want that Origins Bumblebee too. It looks really good too.
I already have the Volkswagen Bumblebee, but I do want the Origins one. The thing is that I want Fangry and maybe the Peg Bundy Black Arachnia.
I like the Primal too. I think I like the. I said I wish it would have been like the Universe Primal, but I do like the kind of the Shadow Blast or Nemesis, whatever. Primal.
I have the Origins Bumblebee. He's neat. Don't get me wrong, but he's not $30 neat.
Yeah.
Just being completely
is that how much
honest.
he is? I thought he was like $28. I thought he was like supposed to be $20 or $22.
But he's $30, man, like $28, $30. It's ridiculous. Like, and he's he's not even a Voyager class, he's like a scout class. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he's legend scale. I mean, almost.
No mention of Guido Guidi.
Wait.
What about him?
Guido
what about him?
He does good art.
Yeah, he does amazing art. He's not on the Beast Wars comic though.
I wish.
I mean, that would be awesome.
I don't know about you. I dropped the IDW, like I tried reading the new continuity. I could not read it. Just
I have, because I do a comic review and discussion podcast called The Pull Bag. I've been doing the IDW comics ever since I got on their media list. And I have to say the new continuity, we've done the first 3 volumes and of the overall ongoing series, the main ongoing, and the Beast Wars comic is my favorite one so far out of all of the 3 volumes, because I just could not, like, in the middle of, I forget which episode number of the podcast it is, but when we did volume 3, in the middle of it, myself and my co-host basically lost where the hell we were, and we were looking through the comic as we were talking, and I'm like, what the hell? I don't even know what's going on with this.
They're just walking and talking. They're walking and they're talking.
And I understand that IDW is currently in the midst of all the shenanigans and legalities and whatever. And somebody said somewhere that the Transformers thing may go to Dark Horse or somewhere. So it's a huge rumor. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no insider information. It's a huge rumor that they're going to lose licenses and things because they're in financial woes and whatever else. And I'm like, man, they're really in financial woes because they're doing this all of the Transformers so far for the 2019 universe. When the trades first hit on Comixology, they were all $15 and up, because they don't just have 5 or 6 issues in them. They have like 12 issues. The next volume that's coming out, volume 4, has a total of 16 comics in it, and they want $25. I can't justify. I want to be able to continue the story, but I just cannot justify that.
Where do you tend to order your trade paperbacks from?
I do it digitally through Comixology.
Okay, that's part of the problem. Digital comics generally are going to always be like retail price. I don't know why, it's stupid, but I recommend going into instocktrades.com.
Oh yeah,
like fantastic pricing, just excellent.
Yeah, it's just because of my vision, I can't do physical trades anymore.
Okay.
So Comixology and their guided view is what keeps me going. But I mean, like, let me just look this up really quick. Somebody else talk.
Real quick, I gotta go. I gotta head out, man. Thank y'all so much for having me on. Rodimus, it's always been an honor to be on your show. I appreciate it. Y'all take care. Lyle, I'm gonna still watch all your stuff, man. Hey, Mike, I think you're on a podcast. I think you said it, so I'll check it out and everything.
Awesome.
Y'all take care and have a great rest of y'all's night. Okay, y'all be safe.
Later, man.
Take it easy.
Take care.
Okay, so just on Comixology alone, I'm looking at Volume 4, Declaration of War for 2019, available on October 27th. It collects issues 25 to 30, the Valentine's Day special one-shot, and the Transformers Escape miniseries 1 to 5. If I'm doing the math right, that's at least 13 comics. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. That's 6. Yeah, that's anyway. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't bump down digital sales, especially if they're trying to get uptick in that because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and they used to do like okay, so in that trade they have the Escape miniseries, the 1 through 5. They used to put that in its own trade. Now they're doing it as one collection. I don't know.
The comic industry is kind of floundering, not in the sense of sales or anything, but like in direction.
Yeah.
So.
This I agree with right here. The old Dreamwave comics. And a friend of the channel who my new logo is was kind enough to allow me to use is Matt Moylan actually used to work for Dreamwave. But he told me all the woes with that, but how that story was supposed to continue on and build upon that Dreamwave universe. And a lot of those artists never got paid.
Yeah.
It was just a different
I love
time.
his little formers.
What's that?
I love his little formers.
I love his little formers. Yeah. That's why my logo is now his little formers Rodimus Prime.
Yep.
Yeah, Matt Moylan's a very skilled, very talented artist. I met him at TFCon 2019.
Wow.
I actually did a little Lion-O for me that I commissioned from him. I got it laying around somewhere.
So we're going to. I just want to bring this up really quickly, since we can talk a little bit about this. Who is going to see this in theaters again?
Oh God!
I hope I'm able to.
This is the only problem with this weekend. The weekend that this is for the Fathom events is that Sunday at noon I'm going to be at RetroCon in Pennsylvania. So I'm like, man, like, so I'm going to have to that Tuesday at 7 p.m. to go see Transformers the movie. So it's not just a one night only, it's a 2 night.
Yeah.
And
it's a 2-night event like it was for the 30th anniversary. 30th?
Did they do 2 nights? I thought it was only 1 night.
No, it was. Did they? I don't know.
It was 1 night, as far as I know.
Maybe it was. I don't remember.
Yeah. And so like this in particular, I'm like, hey, I want to see it in the theater again. I'd love to be there in a crowd talking Transformers. I mean, literally, I can quote the movie from opening scene to closing scene. So it's like, to see it on the big screen again is always fun.
Look, it's Unicron.
Yeah. And what is this? Lorenzo talks live action Transformers.
Oh,
so everybody's going to argue about this one because the problem with Rise of the Beast is like isn't Bumblebee supposed to be a sequel to Rise of the Beast is supposed to be a sequel to Bumblebee.
Yeah.
But is it not a new continuity?
I have no idea. I can't keep up with the movie stuff anymore. And even if Michael Bay's attached or not, I am so burnt out on movie news. And I understand any website, not just the one that you're showing here, but any website, they make their money on clicks and this, that, and the other thing. But I am sorry. I've been podcasting for 13 years. A location, the fact that they're shooting in
Montreal,
Lyle Convoy's backyard, that's not a news item. The fact that they're shooting in Chicago, like some of these websites back in like Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon days, they would have one news article that looks just like this. The entire article would be Michael Bay and the Transformers crew is in Chicago. The movie is coming out 9 months from now. How is that news? They're filming in a city. They film in all kinds of...
I guarantee you.
And we're not even caring about the cars anymore. Like people, you know how the news about Mirage's alt mode just came and went, and people complained about it for a day and then it was gone.
Yeah, because now, between now and when let's just say 2007, 2006, 2007, news back then was exciting because it was the first time. We're now at the apex of having 5 Michael Bay movies. The Bumblebee movie. Unfortunately, yes. The Bumblebee movie and now this new Bumblebee sequel or whatever it's going to be. I don't know. I've always maintained that until I see a trailer, I do not take any of the news seriously. And if this, if Lorenzo he is who he is and he knows what he's doing and they know what they're doing. That's fine. But for me personally, I don't really get attached to the Transformers news anymore unless it's something I can physically see. Like when I get the IDW comic solicits of stuff that's coming out, oh great, this is gonna happen in this issue, or I can get excited then. Same thing for this kind of stuff. It's like until I see a trailer,
you're just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, it just because it's so silly to get up in arms about this stuff. It's not worth the time. And like I said, back in 2006, 2007, it was exciting because it was the first time, whether it was Michael Bay or not, it was the first time Transformers was going to be on the big screen ever. And now it's like, oh, another Transformers movie. Well, we'll see it when we see it.
Yeah.
Another Transformers movie. I wonder what actress they're going to get to bend over in front of the camera for the 5 seconds of gratuitous sexuality that we did not ask for.
And did not make the Transformers stars of their own movie. How come we couldn't have Transformers stars of their own movie? Why?
Because, unfortunately, Hollywood's not concerned with you and me. They're concerned with what the average person who's going to watch this movie is going to think. And these people are so used to just having nothing but human protagonists. That's what they're trying to do here. It sucks. It's dumb. It's devoid of creative talent. But what do I know? I'm just some guy who makes YouTube videos and has a full-time job in the real working world.
What do you guys think? I know your opinion on Super 7, Lyle.
Well, you're going to hear it, too. You're going to hear it hardcore on this.
Okay.
All right.
Take the floor, sir.
All right. Here's my floor. Number one, if you want accurate, 100% cell-accurate images of any of these characters, you follow Grimbo on Twitter. That's D-A, Grim, like Grimlock, and Bo, B-O. He has gone through all, or not all, but the majority of G1 model sheets for the original Japanese or original Transformer series here in the States, and has remastered them and matched them with active cell colors, meaning it's 100% accurate. And when he's compared that to these are so far off in both build and color. And here's the worst part. The absolute worst part is the red line is anywhere from $15 to $20. It has more accurate colors. The models are closer to the animation, and it has more articulation. Super 7 wants $55 for each of these, and they look like dog crap.
Yeah, I agree. Everything you just said. And I know a lot of people, and me included, at least I used to be this way. I'm not this way anymore. A lot of people want their toys to transform. I'm 41 years old. I have these things on display. I've been disabled since birth. I have mild case of cerebral palsy. I also have brain damage and other things and whatever. Like when I was a kid, I was doing all kinds of transformations and Optimus Prime and Soundwave and Blaster and Megatron and all of this and everything else. Like right now, I'm looking at a Nemesis Prime Funko Pop, an Optimus Prime Funko Pop, and a lot of other fun. Because for me, I just want the characters. I don't, like, okay, I'll take perfect example. I'm holding right here. I wish I had a camera for you guys, but I don't. I'm holding the Nemesis Prime there you go. The Nemesis Prime Funko Pop in my hand. It looks just like the G1 action figure that we got in 1984, in robot mode, transformed out, except his head is giant, and it's the Nemesis colors versus the Optimus colors. I am more than fine with just having a figure just stand there, and I don't have to do anything with it. I don't have to transform it, and I love the non-transforming stuff sometimes. But these Super 7 figures, they suck. Not only do they suck in color, like Lio said, they suck in price. If I was going to get a non-transforming figure, it'd either be Funko or it would be the Red Series.
And, I also sometimes do the Transformers that can't transform because it's a good meme. It's a good classic meme.
Yeah.
But I'm also an artist, and the Red Series is fantastic if you need artist reference for a Transformer character from G1. If, you're doing with spatial awareness stuff, and obviously the model sheets are really good to go by, but good 3D rendition works well, and for the most part they tend to be pretty enjoyable. Prime RC was extremely disappointing.
She was a little brown, sadly.
But overall they're fine. I don't have a problem with the first and second wave.
$55.
I'm not paying
Great.
$55 for.
No.
Super 7 has this obsession with actively making you pay more for less. Like the fact that these clowns got the G.I. Joe license and one of their first desires is we're going to do reaction figures, 3 3/4 scale, 5 points of articulation. Now you look at the classic vintage Joes, you're like, why in the world am I going to pay more for actively less articulation than the original toy line?
Yeah.
Are you dumb?
Oh,
Go ahead.
and speaking of G.I. Joe, the whole, everybody reacting to the fact that they never said anything except for we are not allowed to at this time when it comes down to the hooded Cobra Commander, and then everybody made a video about it. Now, it is what it is, but I literally went to a Walmart the other day, and there was those metal, smaller Hasbro made, figurines with a hooded Cobra Commander in the 6-pack.
Yeah,
and I'm looking. So he's not allowed by a third-party company, but Hasbro can still make the hood. Guys,
rules
chill out, guys.
And
Chill
honestly, the blank man face mask is better than the hood anyway.
I like hooded Cobra Commander.
I like the face mask more because it's just cooler looking. That's just my value. Rule of cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is much cooler looking.
I like it for when he goes into battle to have the mask, the battle mask.
Yeah.
And then when he's like eating, it's disgusting to watch you, Cobra Commander. That to me, like he should have a hood there, for that reason. Or I was once a man, those kind of moments.
So you're going to see a bunch of nonsense, and these people can't even get the second wave of Thundercats out yet. It's been almost 2 years now. They keep.
I feel for you, Lyle, because
I don't know. I know how another person that we all know feels about Funko Pops, and that's fine. I can still be his friend, Michael.
Yes.
I'm not. I don't want to sit here and oh my god, I'm going to mention retro blasting, and then oh my god, I'm not trying to start anything. I'm just saying I watched one of his old videos, and one of them was about Funko Pop because I'm a Funko Pop fan. He doesn't like them. I understand why he doesn't like them. That's fine. I have no problem. It's just like me bringing up the fact that I've loved Nickelback for God knows how long. If anyone else doesn't like them, fine. That's fine. We can talk about something else. I have plenty of other interests kind of thing. Where was I going with this? Oh, crap.
The hooded Cobra Commander or the Funko Pop?
But the Funko thing. But it's just one of those things where they're going to have... Yes, I lost it. I don't know.
You lost your train of thought. You were going somewhere. But
I was going somewhere, but
ultimately, Michael's issue is that there's a severe lack of innovation when it comes to the Funkos, and they are actively and obsessively taking over space for other items that could be more functional for collectors.
Yeah, no,
I went to a comic book store recently, and it was nothing but Funko Pops for an entire wall. I'm like, this should be all comic books and other toy and collectibles.
And it
nothing
wasn't
but Funko
specifically
Pops.
about Michael's video about Funkos. It was something about one of his opinions about something, and I'm so sorry.
We were talking about Super 7 and Thundercats before.
There you go. That's what it is. So that's why I brought up Michael, and I was like, yeah, I know Michael doesn't like Funko. That's fine. We are going to get new Funko Pop Thundercat figures before Super 7 ever gets the next wave out.
Unfortunately, probably.
I mean, look how long, honestly, seriously. Like I said, I have Optimus Prime, I have Nemesis Prime, I have, what's the other one I have? I've got a Megatron coming. But anyway, when I found out that Funko even had the Transformers license at the time, they had only done those old movie Funko Pops. And look, I don't like everything about Funko Pops. I have 2 G.I. Joe Funko Pops. That's all I need. I have Baroness and I have Cobra Commander. That's all I need. But I was waiting for them to eventually do Transformers. And I looked at it and I looked at the Funko. I'm like, Transformers, oh my God, 2007 Bumblebee Funko Pop. That thing is ugly as hell. So trust me, I'm not just one of those people that, oh my God, I love Funko and I won't hear any bad. No. There's plenty of Funko Pops that I think are ugly.
Oh yeah, I mean Michael and I are really good friends, and he can't stand Thundercat, so that tells you where I stand. you can have friends with people you disagree with on like very surface level nerd related things, but like when you get into like moral principles, that's another matter altogether.
Yeah.
But with Super 7, they've been so inconsistent in both how they handled things and catching them in active actual lies. Like back when the first wave of the Ninja Turtle villains hadn't hit yet, and that one one Chinese toy reviewer, Dragon Soul, did his review on Raphael, and he was vicious. Like he was almost as mean as I am on these things. And Brian shows up on his personal account and starts dogging the guy, calling him a liar. Well, this hasn't been handled by our distributor yet. It's not in location. When the guy used "we haven't been to China yet" as an excuse for why his first wave of Thundercats weren't accurate. So how would he know his distributor got it? But the worst part is, like, the next day, that dude took a day off work and went to the Super 7 distributor, Polyphony, their physical store, and showed all the Ninja Turtle stuff from Super 7 in that window.
Oh my god.
There was never an apology. There was never a retraction. Him and several other toy reviewers, and I'm not going to mention them here because I'm polite on Rodimus's channel as much as I can be, have never once apologized to this one poor guy. And it's the fact that you have a guy who runs a company who does that and lies about that, also just basic nerd stuff, which generally people don't care about. Like, what are you doing, man? If you are Brian Flynn is the worst possible person for his own PR team. And I'm just going to leave that at that.
Okay. Let's start shifting this a little bit to some more other stuff, some Transformers later. What would you like to see Pretenders return in a big way with articulated shells? Yes. Thunderwing, Bludgeon.
Oh, I would, but...
And actually with the transforming interior as well.
And they'll probably get to that because, we're going all sorts of directions now. We've gotten a whole bunch of headmasters. We've gotten a few Target Master-related things, but I'm hoping we start branching off into some more obscure Transformer stuff. Like the fact that we're getting a Black Zarek is a good indicator that we might actually get some other things. We're finally getting Beast Wars again. That's really awesome. So hopefully they'll branch out into more obscure TF media. Allegedly we're getting a Star Saber from Hasbro Pulse, which I'm still kind of on the fence about because, number one, I do love Victory. So, big Victory.
I love Victory.
But
sorry,
secondly,
guys, my voice, my opinion, believe it's better than Prime in every way. Wow. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
I'll meet you behind the Taco Bell with the broken bottles.
Yes, Lio will. Lio will definitely do so. Okay, so will we do it? No, we haven't even geared the conversation to Masters of the Universe yet.
Not yet. Have you seen it, Lio?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I don't want to, I don't want to ruin your joy.
No.
I'm sorry. I had to say it.
Well, as long as you don't yuck my yums, I guess it's okay.
Yeah. No, I have no intention of doing
We're all on that warrior poet journey.
All right. So I'm just gonna say this first and foremost. Whether you like, I as an overall story, I want to see part 2 of Masters of the Universe. I want to see it. I want to see where they take it.
Yeah.
I like the ensemble adventure. I love a lot of the characters. I enjoyed that. I liked the beginning for the most part when in episode 1 where they were kind of still being that kind of like still bringing you into the 80s era, so to speak, when it came down to characters. I felt that a lot of the characterization of some characters specifically was done terribly. And I also think that this was sold improperly. That's my biggest issue with the show, is that it was sold not only as a continuation, but it was also sold as it's going to be all about He-Man. And it wasn't about He-Man. It was about Teela. Even episode 1 was about Teela. It was not about He-Man. And it, like, she comes in and she's self-absorbed. I would have called it an airstrike. Teela? What? Seriously? Then her reaction to, first of all, Randor overreacted, and I never think that Randor would even, I mean, granted he lost his son, but the way he overreacted to it was so out of character for him, and then it was the Teela's overreaction, which was like, again, was kind of it felt like really out of character for her. You know, especially because I'm currently rewatching the original. I'm saying G1, the original Masters of the Universe cartoon. You know, and the characters are not those specific characters don't feel like the same characters. Randor specifically, Tila, and but other characters they do. You know, they do. Like I think I liked the way they did Evil Lyn in the show. I liked for most of it. I liked Orko. You know, I didn't like that they changed his he was Orko the Great in Trala. So when they were talking about him being a mess up, it didn't make sense. But I want to see where part 2 goes. I still want to see part 2 because the end of it was so I'm middle of the road with it. I do feel the show was I think it was sold that it was going to be the He-Man cartoon again. And we're going to see He-Man kicking, tail again. What we should have had, and this is my opinion, is that there should have been an episode of the first episode should have been a classic style He-Man episode that brings new audiences in as Masters of the Universe fans. Hey, we're back at for the existing fans, they're back in Eternia. He-Man beats Skeletor, and then Skeletor finds out the secret, which leads to episode 2, which would have been the episode 1 of what we got in Revelation. Because then it would have not only given the existing fans we're back in Eternia again, but then it would have also given fans how do I put this? It would have brought the new fans in and go, okay, well, so this is who He-Man is. This is who Skeletor is. Cool, we're seeing all this in action. Oh, okay, what, he just found out the secret of what the castle is? Okay, so he's going to go off and attack the castle. So then that would have been episode 2. Then even if you took He-Man out, and the other thing is that the marketing should have been, He-Man is going to have his final climactic battle with Skeletor, and could the universe end? That would have been, the revelation. That would have been a better sell than people who wanted a He-Man cartoon would have not felt like they were sold short. Those are my opinion, my basic opinions. So
since the series came out, I've seen a bunch of backpedaling, and I finally saw a video that was posted July 21st, even though I missed it because I'm sorry, I'm not subscribing to Kevin Smith's channel on YouTube. I'm just not. I feel like I would lose all YouTube cred if I did. But it's one of those things where I saw this video. In the beginning of the video, he says, this is Mattel Television. The problem with Masters of the Universe as a whole is the rights and who owns what. Universal owns Filmation.
Right.
So they were using the toys and the toy bios, and it was a spiritual sequels. Whatever. I honestly don't. Yes, the Mike Young production show was great. I love that they have that style. Yes. Lio, do you want to go first, or you want me to continue?
Well,
it's up to you. Do you want more time to collect your thoughts and make sure you're not going to see? Okay.
These thoughts have been collected long. So, all
okay.
Right. Here's where I'm going to go. Masters of the Universe has had just a consistent problem for the better part of 7 years now. And the reason why it's had a consistent problem is because the person who is heading Masters of the Universe is Rob David. Rob David is a hack. Rob David does not know how to tell a decent story. He is more obsessed with leaving his mark on the industry for He-Man, just like before him, Scott Nyglick was. Both of them are terrible storytellers with egos the size of a small planet. I think people are focusing too much on Kevin Smith because, I hate to break this to everybody, Kevin Smith's always been the corporate guy. He's always been the hype man. Why anybody actually expected him to be able to deliver anything decent for something he is not familiar with is beyond me. If you want to focus on something, you have to focus on Rob David and Ted Baselli. And when it comes to the story itself, yeah, we were lied to. And people try to say, no, we weren't. But yeah, we absolutely were. Because at first he said Filmation, and then he started backpedaling to a spiritual successor, which either way you're lying. He wasn't a fan of He-Man. And when he went to go defend his, I came home and watched it, He literally says he watched it and he hated it, and somehow that makes him a fan. Sorry, no. I've watched C-SPAN before. I hate the government. That doesn't mean I like the government because I've watched C-SPAN. So the story is inane. It is asinine. It does not make cohesive sense. The characters, every character, is out of character. Evil Lynn is too self-determined to team up with other people to save magic. She'd probably just try to go do it on her own. Beastman becoming an Evil Lynn simp makes absolutely no sense. It's never been his character. Tila losing all composure because a secret was kept from me. You're a military woman. You're captain of the Royal Guard. You know full well about how military secrets are kept. Specifically, you knew Adam, and you would know the reason why he kept that secret was to keep you safe. If they wanted to write a compelling story about Tila being betrayed, it could have gone the way of the sorceress and her being angry at the fact that Man-at-Arms kept that from her. That makes more sense to be angry about. And the way Randor acted, out of place, out of character. Same with Orko. The problem is the people who wrote this, well, Ted Baselli may be a fan of Masters of the Universe, and I've seen him in Community, so I know he is. The man's ideas are all garbage fan fiction people would have written when they were 15 years old. And on top of that, personally, and I don't want to get too far into political here, so I'm going to be very close, I do not care for a man espousing his values when it's only done because he's lazy and he openly admits to it in a Facebook thread. Yeah. I don't like inconsistency, and I certainly don't like people prattling on about their values when it comes to the pardon the paint. They can't keep it. Masters of the Universe Revelation is edgy, try-hard, garbage fan fiction written by mentally stunted, emotionally devoid clowns. There's your take.
Man, it's like 10,000 degrees in here. Ow, man, I need to go to the coldest part of Plundar to get that heat out of me.
Well, you'd have to go to the moons.
Well, that too. I look at entertainment as entertainment. Okay, so again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm doing this whole Transformers thing with this top 100 countdown thing, and my friends and I are doing all that and whatever. And I've been going through old episodes of the old Transformers show. Every Transformers episode that I have grabbed audio from to this point, most of them, are written by writers that I know and love and have loved with other things. Perfect example, may the man rest in peace, David Wise.
Yeah.
Almost every piece of audio that I've grabbed for our countdown has come from David Wise episodes. Larry DiTilio, again, may the man rest in peace. The writing in this, I hope to God, even though I'm pretty sure IMDb gives him writing credit, I hope to God Smith does not get writing credit on this. I know he's the showrunner.
Oh, he did. He wrote the first episode.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God. I don't need a glove. I don't want any more love. Thank you very much.
I can't believe they put that in there. What is wrong?
I know. It's just...
Here's the thing. My wife had to explain that to me because I had no clue. She chuckled. I'm like, what's so funny? That's a condom joke. I'm like, are you kidding me? A condom joke in a He-Man cartoon. And here, another thing here, and Robin will understand and appreciate this. How do these people know what heaven and hell is?
Yeah, that is true.
That's true. Yeah.
There's only two people on the planet Eternia who would have any concept of that. Zodak, because he's a cosmic enforcer and probably be aware of those type of things, and Queen Marlena. So unless Queen Marlena, because she's from Earth, so unless Queen Marlena like proselytize and evangelize the entirety of Eternia, how do these people know what heaven and hell are?
It's like, and I don't want to cross. I want to continue on Masters, but we were talking about all the Transformer stuff earlier. I'm like, how is there snow on Cybertron? It's the same kind of thing, and I get it. It's a thing. It's a weather thing. It's a relating to us as the audience thing. But, I don't know. I don't know.
You want to cut them slack because you're a decent guy.
It's not that I want to cut them slack. It's that as a Masters fan, regardless of what they were trying to pull from, regardless of the quote-unquote wokeness of certain parts of it, or supposed wokeness of certain parts of it, if it is, it is. If it isn't, it is. I look at it as entertainment. I look at it as, was there something in the story that made me want to turn it off? No, because number one, I'm a podcaster and a reviewer, and I have to watch all of it anyway. Number two, I enjoyed almost every bit of the voice acting except one thing.
Mark Hamill, right?
No.
Oh, really?
Him as Skeletor was fine. I think it was fine.
It was too Joker. It was too Joker for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It was way too much Joker.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem. I think he's great and he does a great Joker, but I just think that it just did not like. I needed to hear and I kept. The other thing was and Melvor hit it there. Merman sounded. It was basically Batman.
That's what I was.
It was Batman
yes.
Instead of hearing, "Oh, we're gonna get you now, He-Man." You know.
I understand that Mr. Oppenheimer is up there in age. You got Alan Mother Flippin' Oppenheimer to do Mossman. Why couldn't you have got him to do Merman and have Kevin Conroy be some other bat-like character? Look, I love Kevin Conroy. I've talked to the man. It's been about almost 10 years since I talked to him. But it's just one of those things where he was the wrong fit for that character.
Yep. Yeah.
That's the only problem.
They should have made Kevin Conroy Mossman, and they should have kept Skeletor with Alan Oppenheimer. It would have been better. And the other thing was, like, some of the voice acting, I mean, they got a lot of top notch. I really liked Chris Wood's He-Man. I will say that. Yeah. I did like his Adam into He-Man. Like, he did do, like, his actual acting was phenomenal. I think he just played the part really well. I did not care for Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh, God, it was bad.
I don't think that there was a thing that I liked about this version of Teela.
No,
a thing.
But as far as casting goes, I think I can beat you both on this. So let me try this. All right. So Kevin Conroy, obviously bad choice for Merman. Not gonna argue that. But instead of Alan Oppenheimer reprising Merman, there's another character he did in that show that had very few lines that he could have reprised. And unfortunately, as much as I would like to hear him as Skeletor again, he's just
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
Cringer.
Yep.
He could have been Cringer.
I am. Okay, so, again, going by the old adage of the 80s and the voice acting, the rule of 3. You get 3 voices per actor. He could have been. I liked him as Mossman. I thought that was great. He could have been Mossman. He could have been Cringer. And Merman. Patriot Prime.
Hey there, Patriot.
What is going on, gentlemen? I hear we're complaining about voice actors.
Yes,
specifically He-Man. Specifically He-Man.
Yes, I hopped on just in time to hear you complain about Mark Hamill. Love the guy, but I heard Joker every time.
So it's funny we're mentioning this about Joker. In our review on the podcast I do about Masters of the Universe called the Powers of Grayskull series, yes, it does say Pogs, and I did that intentionally. I've been doing that for a decade now. When we did the spoiler-filled review of Revelation, anybody remember, I think it's 2011, the old video game award thing on Spike TV where the Joker showed up because of Arkham City, I believe. Anyway, they did this video clip where Mark Hamill as the Joker says,
Couldn't agree to that.
Oh, and by the way, spoilers. You know, obviously I'm no Joker. I can't do the voice. But basically, in our spoiler-filled review, I'm like, hey, guess what? Skeletor is going to show up, folks, and he's going to tell you that there's going to be spoilers in this review. And I put in that audio clip from that whole thing to warn everybody.
They could have just gotten the guy who did his voice in the 2000X series to do it.
Oh, man, Brian.
That was such a good series.
Yes.
I just recently finished that. Preparing for this new one, I have them all on DVD, and I was trying to get my son interested. He watched like 5 minutes the first episode. He's off playing Minecraft, so I was like, the hell with it, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
So that was a great series.
Yeah, 2000X series was amazing. The biggest thing that that I had an issue with this whole Masters of the Universe series, of course, number one is how it was sold.
Yeah.
It was, again, we were sold a He-Man cartoon and we weren't still given a He-Man cartoon. I think that Teela's as a character was just mistreated in the way she was poorly written, her overreactions in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Don't care for her new character design.
Yeah, because they glossed over that entire, okay, King Randor and Queen Marlena, He-Man's dead, but so is your son. Your son has just died. Oh, well, let's go talk to Teela.
Yeah. And it was all about Teela, and we never saw King Randor again in the rest of the episodes.
Yeah.
And
so my biggest issue with Randor is obviously his reaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he went all Game of Thrones,
Right.
minus the beheadings.
Yes, his reaction. But my biggest issue with him is who voices him. Diedrich Bader voices him. Now, I know everyone sings the praises of Batman Brave and the Bold. That's fine. Anytime I ever see Diedrich Bader, all I can think of is
Beverly Hillbillies.
Nope.
Paz Delgado.
Nope. Wait, what'd you say?
Paz Delgado.
No.
Oh.
Oswald from the Drew Carey Show.
Yes.
That is all I can think. Every time I hear Diedrich Bader, because that's who he played in the Drew Carey Show, I'm like, what's Oswald doing as Batman? And now, what is Oswald doing as King Randor? And that reaction was just so... I understand you're realizing, number one, you're realizing you didn't know the secret. Number two, you're reacting to your son's death, but that's a little bit over the top.
Yeah. Randor would have been grieved. He wouldn't have been violent. And Tila's overreaction, it more felt the way it was written, it was as if it was written in order to push the story to where it needed to go, instead of a natural progression where these characters would head to.
Yep.
And knowing Tila from this,
Yep.
this right here is my 100% biggest reason why I cannot get behind this Tila. And she was even self-absorbed, but I died. Like, he's trying to say to her, like, I died. Can you get over yourself? And she couldn't.
And I'm trying to remember, what was her biggest fear that she beat Scareglow with? Because it was one of those eye-rolling moments, too.
Too special. That she's too special.
Because she's afraid that she's going to be successful or something like that. I was like, huh? What? And then when she grabs the purple sword of power, she goes, "I'm your worst nightmare." I'm like,
my wife rolled her eyes on that one, and she never watches this stuff.
Yeah, I literally rolled my eyes at that moment because her face was also drawn weird, and the first person I thought of when she said that was
George Newman from UHF.
That guy, right, Lio, because he is a big proponent of animation, of being drawn with proportions and stuff like that. And when I saw that proportion of Tila when she said, "I'm your worst nightmare," I literally was like, Lio is going to rip that scene a new one, and I am going to enjoy hearing it.
Wait for that video.
Here's the thing. The video I'm putting together is going to be extremely comprehensive. It's probably not going to come out. I wanted it to come out this week, but then looking at it, I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah, my wife and I wanted to talk about the show too, because I wanted to get her opinion on it, because the thing is that she only watched the show. She didn't even hear about any of the drama. She watched the show with me, and then she's like, "Why is Tila acting this way? Why is she like, this isn't Tila, like?" And then this is an overreaction. This isn't how her character would act. This isn't this is the thing she said. And then she sent me the headline that Kevin Smith, what all the drama that surrounded him with the show, and she's like, "Why is he like sitting here like yelling at everybody?" Now again, I saw when the final scene of episode 5. Okay, yeah. So here's my wife's reaction. "For the love of God, Tila was super annoying, ridiculous, and obnoxious. I get she lost her best friend, she was lied to, but her attitude before, all of it, no." Yeah. This is my wife right here.
I agree.
Giving you her reaction to Tila. It was as if Tila was written by someone who doesn't understand how to write women.
Yeah.
Is it just me? Because I've read comics for the longest time now. I'd been in comics when I was a kid, but then I got out of them. And since I've been doing a podcast for the last 8 years about comics, I have a hard time reading some female characters in comics when male writers are writing them. And I have the easiest time when female writers are writing them.
Yeah, it's almost like people can write based on their own personal experiences, isn't it?
You'd think.
And here's the thing. Again, I know. I just want to just go back to this point here because this is something I'm seeing in the chat. I'm reading the chat as you guys are talking. Is people are talking about just you guys are 40-year-old man babies. You need to shut up and consume the product like good corporate. No. We need to hold them to better standards. If we loved the show, or if we liked aspects of the show, we need to be honest. But we need to tell them, hey, you screwed this up. You need to fix this. Something is wrong here. And mind you that part 2 is already done. So it's not like the next 5 episodes are not already planned out. I want to see where they take it because then we can really judge the show on its full-blown merits.
I personally think that Netflix screwed this up. Netflix is... I have looked at various other Netflix animated shows and other live-action shows on Netflix. They have this either 13-episode arc or 7 and 6 or whatever split it is, whatever. This should have been 10 episodes within a month's time. Release the first 5 when they released it, July 23rd. Release the last 5 on August 23rd or whatever, because while that was a great cliffhanger, we don't know. I have seen one website that I can't even say that is factual that is going to happen. I've only ever seen one website in my searches say that supposedly October 28th we are getting part 2. I've heard Kevin Smith say, I don't know what Netflix is doing. All as I know is they've told me they want season 2 by 2023.
2023?
That's what he said on a video.
So
okay.
If you'll cut me wild here for just a moment, I want to address this comment. You guys, Rodimus did earlier, but
okay.
First of all, I'm not 40 plus. I'm 35 plus. Get that right.
Oh, you're a youngin'.
Apparently.
I'm not 40 yet. Yeah.
So,
oh God, Grandpa right here.
These people who go on and tell you, well, you should just enjoy this thing. If you're not critical of the media you consume one way or another, it doesn't matter what the media is. It doesn't matter what you take. If you're not critical like that or like you are of your food, you wind up extremely obese in the brain. You wind up extremely unhealthy. You should be critical of everything you consume regardless of what it is. And for everybody who's trying to get on a pedestal saying, well, you shouldn't complain about it. If you don't like it, move on. Buddy, you're in the comment section complaining about the fact that we're complaining about it. You don't live by that value. Stop demanding other people do so. And here's the worst kicker. And I hoped you guys would have learned this with Sonic the Hedgehog, but apparently not. Apparently, Baby has to burn their hand on the stove more than once. It's coming for your stuff, too. And sooner or later, you're going to have some really bad takes on things. I'm waiting on bated breath for the Netflix live-action Avatar television show, because I'm going to be seeing your entire generation lose their minds over it. I'm going to be sitting back in a chair, drinking some nice sparkling water, enjoying your tears. And when you're done and you're on the ground and you're broken, I will comfort you, and then I'm going to slap you and say, do you understand now? Do you get it? Corporations aren't your friends, and you are not obligated to consume everything they put out mindlessly.
Yep.
If you weren't raised with standards, somebody needs to slap your parents in the mouth.
And I tell you what, I got to give the nerd community props for what they did to Sonic the Hedgehog. That is one of my son and my favorite video game movies. And I couldn't imagine if that would have been successful if they stuck with that abomination that they started up with.
Yes.
If it wasn't for people like us saying, that's not what he looks like. Fix it. They made him more cartoony, but it still worked because it's a movie based on a video game. The shit's not real, so just accept it for what it is.
Yeah.
And also, real quick, the same person said this has been a bunch of incel whining. Dude, I'm married. I get laid more than you. I'm sorry. I'm not an incel. I know that's a really easy fallback.
Yeah. My wife is basically saying, like, literally, like, like she's saying it sucks. And I have 2 kids, by the way. I don't think that if I had 2 kids that I'm an incel. I don't think Patriot Prime, with his son and his wife, that he's an incel.
I don't have any kids, but I am.
It's that cookie cutter insult right there. That's all they got.
Yeah, it's like,
could you at least tailor it to fit me better? Just, or any of us, tailor it a little bit. Say, you're really into these things. Congratulations. People care about stuff. Are you stupid? You care enough to come crying to us about the fact that we're complaining. If you had an actual argument, I'd be happy to hear it any day of the week, but none of you actually do.
Look, we want to. There's the thing. if we're complaining about something that we like, we want to bring constructive criticism, but please, like I will at the same time that I'm being critical about this show, will also be critical about some of the grifter YouTube channels out there.
Oh God, yes.
I'm not going to call a lot of them out by name, but a lot of them are out there. What's that?
I will in my video, so don't worry.
I know you will, and I'm very because I'm respectful enough to know that some of them do need a pimp slapping. Whenever I hear any one of them say, "I never watched He-Man growing up," and all I heard was this is what He-Man was going to be in this new show, and it's again. The minute you just said what those words that came out of that person's mouth, everything after means nothing.
Correct.
Doesn't matter if they liked the show or disliked the show. That He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Revelation was sold to us, the He-Man fans who grew up on the original cartoon.
Yep.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter if it. What's that?
I was saying, look at the first trailer. It was nothing but action packed with that 80s holding out for a hero song that we all grew up with in so many movies. It was just, here you go, 40 plus nerds. This is for you.
Yes.
Oh, never mind.
One moment about that. Even in Leopard again. You say that we're acting like children over a media made for children. Revelation was meant for us, for the fans. And Looney Tunes, because I know people get grief over the new Space Jam. Looney Tunes is all ages. Your metric for what is childish and what is adult is skewed because you think adult means consume without question and child means consume without question. But I'll tell you what, if you want to be a big boy and you want to put on your big boy pants, hit me up on Twitter, BlyoManDad. I'll send you a link to our server and you can come at me as hard as you can and we'll see how that goes for you. I'm not going to do that here because this is Rodimus' stream and he wants to be polite and I appreciate that. He's the voice of reason here. You picked the fight with the wrong guy. So anytime you're ready, let me know.
I can just see the lion face just like clenching up, ready for the battle over here.
I always try to be reasonable when it comes down to these things. I always do.
And I do too. Like you said, I have my issues, but my issues don't. Now I can't get. I said it earlier, and I can't get it out of my head. I'm sorry to take away your joy, but it's just one of those things where. Is one little thing of Kevin Conroy being the wrong voice for a character going to ruin the entire show for me? No. He's in like 4 or 5 scenes out of 5 episodes or something, or he's in one long scene in one episode. Yes, Mark Hamill is very much Joker-ish because that's the voice, blah, 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 whatever. I still got chills when he said at the beginning, of course, until... they made him. They did do some Filmation things here. So in the very beginning, they're like, "I am Skeletor, Lord of Destruction," and then Sorceress is like, "What?"
He just shot
and he's
his
like,
ass.
"Oof!" And I'm like, "Okay, I liked it. It was badass." Until they made him look like he was from Filmation, because let's face it, Filmation Skeletor never, ever won.
He didn't win. Then he got beat again.
You got to admit, this is just from Jason Taylor. Skeletor getting the power of Grayskull was a great cliffhanger.
It was absolutely.
It was.
The
I do think. Go ahead.
The biggest problem I had with that is they released the figure before the show.
Yeah,
they should have kept that sucker under wraps because we all bought that figure right off the bat, and then here we are. We knew he was coming at some point. And yes, he did go full Frank Langella. I wish he had more of that gold armor though.
Well, the other thing is, I picked up on this, and I don't know if you picked up on this, Mike or Lyle or Patriot AJ. There's a bunch of elements in the movie. I mean, not the movie, the show that felt like it was coming out of the '87 movie.
Well, the quote
our final battle.
There you go.
Our final battle. Him becoming Skelegod. The discs that they used in Preternia, that they were floating on. Right. And Sorceress behind, like when she was guarding herself in the energy tube or whatever, completely reminded me of the '87 movie. The fact that Skeletor even invaded Grayskull was the '87 movie.
Was the '87 movie?
Yeah. The thing is, I'll disagree with the Skeletor thing, and here's why: because every single hard-hitting thing you see in the series is just a recycled thing Rob David did earlier. He did that entire arc in the New 52 Infinity War storyline.
That's
Or Eternity
right.
War.
Eternity War. That's right. I remember that now. Oh wow! I
Yeah,
didn't
and
realize that.
Prince Adam getting stabbed. Where'd that come from? Oh, maybe it's the Thundercats He-Man crossover Rob David did.
Yep.
And Skeletor getting ran through. Where'd that come from? Oh, Masters of the Universe and Injustice crossover with Superman punching a hole through Skeletor.
I
It's
still
all
haven't read
recycled
that one.
I need to read
Don't
that now.
waste-
Spoiler alert.
No,
Yeah.
please. Gentlemen, I'm begging you. Please don't waste your time.
I
It's
need to read
terrible.
that.
They're all garbage. And the Masters of the Multiverse is even worse because it also does these types of stunts. It's all recycled fan fiction stupidity from Rob David because the man's a hack.
Okay, so my buddy
let this
Steve.
be our final battle.
Yeah, my buddy Steve, who runs our website, as I've mentioned earlier, geekcastradio.com, he got on the Netflix media thing where you get get early access to the stuff. In the email specifically about Masters of the Universe Revelation, embargoed spoilers until post-launch. We also respectfully ask that you refrain from revealing specific plot points prior to the Part 1 premiere to give viewers ample time to experience the full impact of the storyline as it unfolds, including any character deaths, including He-Man, Skeletor, Mossman, Orko, and Roboto. He-Man's sword breaks in half, which that happened before. That I don't know why that's a spoiler.
Yeah, I know, right?
That was in the very first mini comic.
Yeah, Skeletor's spirit was dormant in the Havoc staff, blah, blah, blah. Skeletor calls down the power of Grayskull, and Skeletor becoming Skeletor God. The only one of these requests that I have, like, before or post, until after the show launched, Skeletor becoming Skeletor God, they spoiled that themselves. And then on top of that, Kevin Smith did all of this spoiler and stuff like 48 hours before the damn thing. I'm like, your showrunner gives away the entire show. Oh, we had to make you love or look, as a kid, I was 83 to 85. I was 3 years old to 5 years old. So by the time 86, 87, when I saw it in reruns, because, kids and young people under...
They reran that show for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
They did syndication for a while. So I was a kid. I liked Orko. As a kid, I didn't really relate to Orko, but Orko was the kid character of the show kind of thing.
Man, I hated Orko. I hated Snarf. I hated Miss Lion. Y'all remember her?
Miss Lion.
Come on, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, the stupid dog.
Yes.
I will stalwartly defend both Orko and Snarf. Snarf, though, I can defend a lot easier because you're older. Because you're older.
What was the mask robot? Bebop.
Oh, don't even mention T-Bob.
I won't defend him.
T-Bob.
I won't defend T-Bob.
Yeah.
The funny thing
this is the reason why Orko was killed off was because of this. Snorf and Orko for the win.
Yeah.
Orko did redeem himself a little bit in the 2002 series, and I'm going to give Leopard a shout out too. He mentioned in the 2002 series how much all the characters twirled and spun their weapons around.
I didn't get that.
I immediately got that 2002 flashback when Tila got into Stinkor's lair and he breathed the stink, and she automatically, her staff turned into a fan. And as immediately, I said, "Oh, there's your 2002 throwback."
2002 throwback.
And also in the 2002 series, why did Battle Cat get his ass beat so much?
I don't know. But since you brought it up, I need to talk about this. Rodimus mentioned earlier that I'm probably going to turn to the animation, and you're 100% correct because it's not good. And before anybody gets mad, I need to make it clear: art style and animation are not the same thing.
No, they're different.
Art style is what the characters look like in design. Animation is how they move. Art-wise, they're fine.
Yep.
Until the redesigns, they're fine. The animation, though, is poorly paced, choppy. They're not animating on the proper frame rate. So when you actually look at how the fights play out, they're awkward as all get out. I mean, I joked about it when the trailer hit that whenever they do the twofer attack when He-Man swings Tila into Clawful, Clawful is literally just a model that tilts to his side and flies off.
Whiplash. It was Whiplash.
Whiplash. Whiplash. He just tilts to his side and flies off. And that's throughout this entire series. And I had one guy named Amon who's apparently he does the package art for the Revelations toys.
Yeah.
When Retro Blasting shared the stream I did where I was having fun with bad Revelation takes, said that I don't know what I'm talking about because the animation is objectively good, and that Retro Blasting is pairing with questionable people now. So apparently, because I say the animation isn't good, I'm questionable. So that's kind of funny. But secondly, Madhouse, the production company does this. They have a bad habit, and I know Rodimus has seen Castlevania, so have I. I've seen a bit of it.
I've actually just started watching that because of Masters of the Universe Revelations.
Okay.
Man, that's a slow series.
Let me key you into Madhouse's biggest problem. They want to try to be on par with the fight scenes you'll see in anime without knowing how they do it.
Oh, you're talking about Powerhouse, yeah.
Powerhouse.
You're saying Madhouse, but yeah, Powerhouse.
Yeah, Powerhouse. Sorry, it's been a very long week.
Castlevania was animated better, and it's the same animation studio, I think. Castlevania was animated better than this new He-Man show.
Well, yeah, and somehow the new He-Man show is this poorly animated and been in production for 2 years.
Yeah, how has this thing been in? I know probably Filmation He-Man season 1 was in production since late '81, early '82, but seriously, with everything that they do nowadays and how fast things come out and how fast some things are made, how did this thing take 2 years of hype?
Because Kevin Smith, that's all he knows how to do. And I want to single you in on something here. On PowerCon, when this was revealed, Penny Dreadful, who has done bios for classics, is doing currently bios for the Super 7 Thundercats line. She asked him, is this, and she was being genuine, does this show have morals in it like the original did? And Kevin laughed in her face.
That's because Kevin didn't know the original show. That's because...
It's also because he doesn't value those type of things.
No,
and that's the kicker. That's the kicker. You can tell a story. You can tell a really good story that teaches a moral value without saying at the end of it, "Hello, friends. Today we learned that sticking your genitals in a blender hurts."
This sums up your thoughts right here, Lyle. The art direction was nice. The animation was spotty.
It was terrible. And on top of that, there are more humans on Eternia, but one of the guys and the character designer is a furry, so that's why you see furries all over the place by his own admission. So there's something you know now. Have fun with my nightmares.
Oh, I know other people have said this, but all as I can see in my head now that you said that, Lio, is all I see is Ivan Ooze. Welcome to my nightmare.
Oh Lord.
I love mustache twirling villains. I do.
I do too.
I miss them. But go ahead. Continue. What were you about to say?
I was saying, speaking of nightmares, you guys might have already touched on this because I see I'm 2 hours and 15 minutes late. The one thing I really liked about Kevin Smith's new show, I like that techno-organic cult. I just like that little bit of because I'm into the cyborg weird stuff like that. But I thought that was kind of cool and added a neat horror element to it. Of course, I was a fan of the movie Virus. It was a terrible movie, but I liked the concept where the machines were kind of taking over people. So I thought that was pretty cool, especially it was got kind of adult oriented there for a while. I had to send my son out when they were drinking the nanites and the people were converting. So I'm just going to throw that out there. I like that.
I think the idea is fine, but wrong character. Like, of all people, Triclops? You got
Triclops? Look at him from the 2002 series. He was a cyborg. Remember, we got that acid in his face, and you saw that whole top half of his
head. And in the original mini comics, he was a mercenary. Like, it's not really much of his character to go full, even if it's techno-religion, like a religious ideology. That's something you could have done that with other characters. You could have done that with Dragstore specifically instead of just making him some background good. You could have fleshed him out. And that's part of the problem with this new series. Let's not flesh out any of the background characters from the original show because that takes effort.
You had to know who Blast Attack was for that one scene to work.
Yeah. They could have done it with a lot of characters, and they chose not.
I wanted to know what happened to Fisto and Clam Champ. I really wanted to see more Clam Champ in action.
They're having tea.
Yeah, I know, right? I wanted to see that. I will say this: there were, I know Andra is supposed to have been from the mini comics, but I kind of view her as a new character. It's not the same character. I did enjoy her character, but she was just kind of like a sidekick in a way,
And again, it's this Netflix model of splitting up
Yeah.
I love how all of these websites are like, oh my God, season 2 is coming. No. You need to understand, people. This is season 1. Season 1 is 10 episodes. This
Yep.
isn't even into season 2 yet. The Netflix split model is. You look at Disney Plus and what they're doing with all of their shows, whether it be cartoon or live action. They have weekly releases of the 6 weeklies of Marvel stuff and whatever, 9 for WandaVision, 6 for Winter Soldier, 6 for Loki, whatever for Star Wars. You come back for weekly content. While I love the Netflix and binge model, 5 episodes with a cliffhanger, even though the cliffhanger was cool, you need to give, like I said earlier, you need to give us that second part before 6 months from now.
Yeah, that's why we pay for streaming. I want to binge an entire season.
Yeah.
I want 13 episodes in 2 nights.
I want what I paid for. I want to see it. Yeah. And here's the thing, Ebony. I wanted to see Clamp Champ. I wanted to see more of him. He was awesome in the one scene he was in. And his toy was awesome. But one of the producers said no one cares about him. The producer, Ted Biaselli, said no one cares about him.
And he's one of the most sought-after Origins figures. I'm on a lot of Origins Facebook pages. Hey, anybody got Clamp Champ for sale? I'm looking for Clamp Champ. Fortunately, Amazon, if you're listening, Amazon has him retail price right now. Him and Battle Armor He-Man.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking for. You got to see me looking around. I just got a Faker and a Fisto, and I have no idea where I put them.
You have so many toys there. How could you?
Yeah, just got this guy too.
Oh wow,
Hordak.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I saw a piece of fan art that would have been awesome if it's true, but only because it seems like it was drawn in the same style, which is using a pen tool in Photoshop or Illustrator. But it was like She-Ra was like it was She-Ra's back looking at the new Teela, Orko, Clamp Champ, and I was like, it would have been so awesome if She-Ra actually shows up, but they're not going to do that because of rights. So
isn't that weird?
They may or they may not. It depends. Because, again, as I said earlier, because this is Mattel Television and they're basing the whole stuff around the toys that Mattel owns, maybe we will get She-Ra. I don't know what kind of She-Ra we will get. Here's hoping they don't try to make it a connection with the other Netflix series. Ugh.
I mean, if we're going to have a dumpster fire, we might as well have it all burning all the time. Let's go full hog on it, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing. I still stand behind my opinion, and I know it's not the opinion of everybody on this panel, that I want to see part 2.
I want to see part 2 as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to see it and see what happens. That's all.
I mean, my dumpster fire analogy still works. I mean, I've seen terrible accidents. I might as well finish watching this one.
I think this one would have worked a lot better if instead of hyping it up as a continuation of our series, it's just brand new. Maybe fleshed out He-Man a little bit more before you killed him off. And I think somebody said earlier, I hate when they do they're killed off because in a flash of light, they have disappeared. You knew He-Man was coming back. You knew Skeletor was coming back. Orko, Scareglow, flash of light, but stabbing Adam through the back, Of course, that was a gut wound.
Yeah.
But
that's a flesh wound.
My train of thought, it derailed. But anyway, if they made this a new series, like an alternate universe series, which is how I kind of look at a lot of these Transformers shows. I don't get all tore up about
Transformers.
those.
I think we're used to it at this point. The problem with He-Man is that this was sold as a continuation of the filmmaking.
Exactly. And that's what
even if it was a spiritual successor, it should have been in line with it to be able to say, even if we don't have the rights to it, it could match. And here, can this match? You really have to
See, the other thing I want to point out, and I know everybody in this panel knows this, Filmation and the work that they did, those were single story cartoons. There was no such thing. Even Transformers, G.I. Joe, Mask, all of that. They had a couple of 2-parters. They had a couple of multi-parters. They had a couple of miniseries. But you look at the 130th episode of He-Man. There is no continuation from the Cold Zone to now.
not.
Yeah,
it's
if you
not
watch that
completely-
new Skeletor guy on YouTube,
I have.
he
He's
just did a
hilarious.
video on it.
It's about Tila.
That guy got 2,000 subscribers in 3 days.
Yeah.
Because when he first started that, I think Kato shared it with us, Rodimus, and he only had 52 subs. And I watched him jump from 52 to 2,000 in 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, kudos to him. He does a great Skeletor.
Oh, it's fantastic. It really is.
It was hilarious. I was laughing hysterically, like just watching him. But I'm trying to be objective as best as I can with this, because I know that there is a level of people are just consume and enjoy, and there is a everything is awful, and
That's driving me nuts. I can't find them figures.
I think Stinkor made off with them.
Probably.
And that's the other thing. Like, I know Stinkor wasn't big in the original. He showed up like maybe one episode briefly. Seriously, I had to watch this
Stinkor
thing.
did not show up in the original cartoon.
Oh, that's right. He
No,
didn't
he
show
didn't.
up.
Because
Yeah.
He did play a big part in 2002.
Yes,
Yeah.
he did. Yeah, he did.
He did not. He didn't show up because Lou Scheimer said to Mattel, "I will not have a fart joke
yeah,
as
yeah.
part
I
of my
remember- I remember
cartoon."
that.
Yeah,
Well, the
same,
funny thing
similar.
is-
Go ahead.
Well, the funny thing is I had to catch it on the third rewatch of these 5 episodes. The first time I watched it before we did our non-spoiler podcast, I'm like, "Where's Jason? Where's Jay? I don't remember. I did literally. I completely forgot about Stinkor. Not just because it's Jason Mewes, but I watched it through the second time. I'm like, oh crap! I don't even remember this scene.
Yeah.
I don't remember. He does
I-
talk. I don't remember.
I was
anything.
expecting, much more of a noich noich noich,
yeah. I think
like
everybody
voice out of
was. Yeah.
What was he? Stole the glove of Globulus or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they got that Cobra Law flashback right there too. Come on, Globulus.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I-
Globulus.
I'm still looking at
Shut up, old.
that.
My brain's just sitting there like, hold on, wait, what?
Yeah, I remember
I'm-
Glove of Globulus.
Oh my
I'm
God.
still looking at the chat here, and we got Ebony Leopard. Well, I can't blame them for not aping the original. Have you seen that lately? I don't know, Rodimus. Have you seen the Filmation cartoon lately? Apparently, it's really, really bad. I mean, did you know?
I spent 10 years reviewing
Okay.
it, so yeah.
The cartoon's fine. It's fairly well animated.
This is my wife's opinion. She liked Triclops in this, really liked Triclops. She was talking about the whole cult thing, thought it was hilarious, thought it was cool. She liked Andra. She liked Orgo. She loved the way He-Man was played in this show, as when he was in it, and Evelyn, but not Tila.
I did
And I
help
think we
like how they
all- I
did.
think- yeah. Oh yeah, or Randor. Gah.
I liked how they made Adam teenager looking, like in the 2002 series, because
Yeah.
that was always so funny back in the day. Even as a kid, when I was little watching that, how do people not know that's He-Man? It's just He-Man with a higher pitched voice, wearing a pink shirt.
You know what I love? I absolutely love about this is that we're in love with this. We love these franchises and we love these things, and those of us who are parents get to enjoy this stuff with our kids, and
Except
that's
mine,
one
who
of the reasons why we
plays
probably
Minecraft.
hold onto the nostalgia so well. We want our kids to be able to enjoy it too. I want my son and my daughter to be able to enjoy He-Man and Transformers and G.I. Joe and all the cartoons that I grew up with, because they're supposedly bringing them back, but are they bringing them back so that I can sit down and watch it with them, or are they bringing it back and saying that I'm not relevant and important anymore? And this show in particular was said it was supposed to be sold for me, and I watched the show and I'm like, in one way I like it, in some places, and in other places I feel betrayed. So I'm like, I got this torn feeling. You got some who feel they hated the show and they're allowed to hate the show as much as they want to.
I'm
But
glad I'm here for this, and I'm sorry to interrupt you really quickly. Anybody notice, besides the fact that it's Kevin Smith, and I don't want to take away about anything that FJ does and anything like that. I respect the man. I love what he did. Masters of the Universe had more press in the last 2 years than Transformers has had in the last 10.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Transformers have been that constant presence on the toy shelves.
That's true. Yeah.
And then, of course, all the movies and everything else.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it seems to me that Netflix basically buried War for Cybertron Kingdom.
They did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
did.
it wasn't hyped up at all for this July. I mean, only us nerds on Facebook and online.
Yeah.
We're the ones who
FJ
shared it and promoted it.
Well, Jay, Patriot was actually, FJ was actually in the chat earlier.
Ah,
Yeah. And, we were, before Lyle came in and
ran him off.
No, we didn't run him off. Lyle came in after he left.
That's
Right.
the
the
thing.
thing.
I spoke to FJ directly, and I even told him about the likes and the dislikes of the show with constructive criticism. And he took the good and he took the bad, and he said, I'll take it because you're giving me objective criticism about the show. You understand where I was coming from with this, that I was trying to do my best with the show, and there were things that I couldn't work with. And some of your criticism is very, very, and I feel is very, very warranted. The voices in a lot of places, in my opinion, very warranted. Certain characters, the way that they're portrayed, don't necessarily feel right. My biggest two complaints are Optimus Prime and Beast Wars Megatron. Those two characters I felt throughout the entire trilogy were not handled the way that I think that they should have been treated. But the entirety of the story was handled the best in Kingdom as a whole. But that's the thing is that I care. Like the thing is, I enjoyed the trilogy, but he understands that because he's also a fan. Whereas a lot of the people who are currently working on the Masters Universe series, they're trying to bring He-Man back. You can say okay that maybe what was Ted Biaselli is a fan, but he has a different viewpoint on how he wants things handled in the franchise than I think that many who are He-Man, still hardcore He-Man fans want to see. And this show was being sold as a He-Man sequel. So it was a sequel to the 80s show. It was not a sequel to the 2002 show, which a lot of us grew and we grew up with watching too. When that came out, it was Armada time. So Armada was out at the same time as He-Man, if you guys remember. So that was Pokemon Transformers, and got to catch them all. Got to catch those mini-cons. And the 2002 He-Man cartoon I thought was fantastic in a lot of ways. There's things that it took liberty on, but that's what it did. But we still hold the Filmation cartoon in high regard. Here they're coming on and they're saying, hey, we're going to do a continuation of that series, the 2002, not the 2002, the 1980s cartoon. Even if we can't legally be a sequel to it, it's supposed to be a sequel to that. So who are the first people who are going to line up to go see the He-Man cartoon before anyone else? Anyone else? Before anybody new, before any new person who's never seen He-Man in the Masters Universe before, longtime fans who have kept the franchise going, and even the casual fans, the ones who were, I grew up watching He-Man, and I may have not watched He-Man, wasn't a super hardcore fan. This is really cool. They're bringing him back. They're going to bring back He-Man. Oh, great. I can't wait to see He-Man in action. And then you're sold that this show is a He-Man in action. We're going to see more and more of He-Man fighting and fighting the forces of evil and fighting Skeletor. In episode 1, he dies. And it's a visceral reaction because the fans were the ones who the show was sold to first and foremost. And so as much as you can have enjoyed all 5 episodes, you can't wait for part 2. You can definitely feel betrayed and lied to because you were sold on one thing and you were delivered another, even if you liked it. And that's where the people who are getting angry and furious and about this is they're the ones who I think have the most say out of anyone, because they're the ones who are saying, hey, we grew up watching this. We were told it was one thing. How come we didn't get that?
Yeah.
That's it.
And like Patriot Prime said earlier, Transformers has, there was a few spots here and there over the last 40 years that it's gone away, but it has never, ever fully gone away.
Right.
He-Man went after 2002, and I don't blame Mike Young or the Mike Young Productions team or any of that. I don't blame them. I blame Cartoon Network for the failure of that show. I do not blame Mike Young and all of his team and everybody that worked on that. From 2003 until you don't, John Connor, He-Man.
That was great.
Yeah.
You know, from 2003 up until, well, I guess if you want to say the Netflix She-Ra stuff, there was really, and even that's not even really a He-Man cartoon. Up until this cartoon and whatever the other cartoon they're going to be doing is, we haven't had one since the 2002 series for He-Man. So I don't know. It just seems like between Hasbro and Mattel, even though the promotion and revelation of revealing Kingdom to everybody might have been buried, which it was, versus Masters being up in everybody's face because it's Kevin, I'm going to wake and bake Smith. You know, I mean, it is what it is, but I don't know. I just hope that they can ride something here with this and continue something with it. I don't know, man. It just seems like these companies are doing two very different things, which they are two very different companies and have two very different employee sets. But man, it's just a crazy time. I'm happy we have the cartoons, but I hate this hurry up and wait stuff. The fact that it took 2 years from, this is the same problem I have with Warner Brothers. I first remember hearing about the BS that it was BVS, Dawn of Justice. I first remember hearing about that like 2012 or 2013. The damn movie didn't come out until 2016. That's too long. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, if we blame Cartoon Network for the previous series, we got to blame a lot on Netflix. How much do you think Kevin Smith has a lot to say about the show? Yeah.
Well, I said earlier that he released videos on his channel after the release saying, oh yes, My Little Pony. Yes.
Don't talk about that.
Yeah.
My wife's a big My Little Pony fan.
Heaven forbid we anger the bronies, everybody. Oh my God.
Yeah, He-Man was not for kids. Definitely, this one was. I in a lot of ways, I definitely can see that with Revelation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was definitely not sold, nor was it marketed, nor was it meant for kids.
I remember looking when the first episode popped up, and there at the top, they always have the warnings: fantasy, violence, and gore. And I remember looking at my wife, and I went, "Gore." It was blue gore when they stabbed Skeletor, but still.
Yeah,
I don't want to shift the subject, but I do want to answer this question only because I do know Kingdom was designed to be an ending was an open-ended ending on purpose because they were planning on doing what is the next toy line after Kingdom and to do the stories of it afterward. They were actually going to do a whole the toy line that's coming out after Kingdom ends. They wanted to do an animated series, but Netflix didn't give them the go-ahead for a series after Kingdom. And so the way Kingdom ends is that it's an ending that if they never make another show afterward, it's a clean enough ending that they can be done. But
Unicron just reset everything.
Right. But I mean, it's done in a way that it ends in a way that if they never make another episode, you'll be okay with it. But if they could continue on with the story. And that was done on purpose. And that's just because, again, Netflix is not financing enough for more than 6 episodes a season. 5 episodes for part 1 of a 10-episode season. Revelations is less than. Well, here's the thing, though, is that the anime here in Western markets, though, anime is censored when it's aired on TV. Is it not?
Some of it is. It all varies on a lot of different aspects. Very rarely is it censored in terms of violence because more often than not it's either direct DVD or streaming releases, or if it airs on television, it's usually on Toonami in the middle of the night where adults are primarily watching it. Very rarely is it now as edited as it was when we were kids. But the point is, Revelation doing less than anime. It's 5 episodes so far. Are you stupid? Of course it's going to do less than anime. Good Lord.
Yeah. Well, anime though, like they animate those episodes 1 episode a week. and they get 52 episodes out in a year.
Yeah, and there's a lot of problems with the Japanese animation industry. Those people literally work themselves to death, and their comfort and work is abysmal. So that's why when I see people going around saying, we need to be more like Japan, we need to operate more like their animation industry, I look at them and think, you don't know dick about it other than the fact that you like the cartoons they put out. Get a brain.
It would. The thing is that with anime, I think what they refer to is obviously the dedication to the art, the art, so to speak, because the art in anime is, a lot of people will say is drawn better. But the other thing is that that they're able to bring out that many consistent stories over a time frame. Like, imagine getting 26 episodes a year.
Well, there's also a fact that people don't tend to look at here is the way anime is structured is quite a bit different than the way Western animation is structured. 90% of Western animation is original pitch concept ideas that are made specifically for animation. The majority of anime were things that were already tried and tested and had their own fandom or their own
manga.
In manga, yeah. weekly shonen jump, things like that. They're already been proven successful, and these happen usually years before the anime starts airing. It's usually when the anime airs and it gets heavier prominence, and you start seeing it overseas and all of that. So our markets don't even operate the same. If we were to do that, I mean, the animation industry would probably be a lot more booming right now, but you'd also have a billion different Batman and Superman cartoons. And people get tired of specifically superhero stories in and of themselves. The problem with the comic industry compared to the manga industry is that we're not very diversified in the type of stories we tell in the mainline industry.
Now, while he's pausing, I'm going to thank you guys for allowing me on here. It's 11 o'clock. I got to get up early, get the kid off to – where am I taking him?
Oh, yeah, you don't even remember.
He's got a dentist appointment at 8 o'clock. Got to get the wife to work. Then I got to take her car to the shop. A fun day. I took the day off because I got all this other crap to do. So, Rodimus, thanks for the invite. Gentlemen, a pleasure talking with you for the first time. I've seen you on here quite a few. So
this is my first time, so I'm a virgin over here.
I recognize the name from somewhere, but anyway.
Probably online.
Yeah. But, so, in conclusion, let's conclude, because I actually do want to conclude the stream.
Okay, well, I'll hang in then.
All right. Again, if you liked Masters of the Universe Revelation, and if you liked Kingdom, great. If you didn't, you're more than welcome to not liking it. The constructive criticism is the way to go about doing these things. And I think that it's better for us to approach these things with a objective mindset, so we can take it apart, the things that are bad, the things that are good, and be looking at it from that perspective. There is a level of opinion that we are allowed to have. And, especially for the longtime fans, especially the ones who were, been in these franchises for however many years that we've been, but we could still be civil to each other and still have a, civil conversation, obviously with a few exceptions. So with that being said, thank you guys very much for coming on with me, guys. Thank you all for tuning in and watching us ramble on for 3 hours,
watching us complain for 3 hours about cartoons that really don't matter in the end. Oh my God, men are complaining about cartoons. It's the end of the world.
It's the end of the world. Something, there are people who ramble on about sports for 3 hours. And they are sports fans, and I cannot stand sports.
I have had people comment to me, that collects sports memorabilia, and they'll show me their rooms of all this sports stuff, and I'm like, what's the difference?
I know, right? I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
So
can I give one shout out before we get out of here?
Sure.
Coming up in August this month, starting I believe the 8th, we have got over at the Geekcast Radio Network, we have got the top 100 Transformers characters countdown. It is a 6-part, 6 Constructicons, 5 up, 5 down. It's like shooting cyber ducks in a barrel. We've got 6 podcasts. 4 of those are the countdown. The other 2 are the intro and outro episodes, where we gathered 33 different people. Rodimus Primal was one of them. I wasn't able to reach out to you gentlemen at the time, but we've been planning this for months. And we've got 6 parts, 6 episodes where we reveal the Geekcast Radio Network's top 100 Transformers characters countdown. As I said at the beginning of the stream, poor Beast Wars Inferno just missed it by that much, coming in at number 101. So that's coming up, geekcastradio.com. So check it out over there as well. Take it away, Rodimus. Sorry.
All right. So, Patriot, do you want to talk about your?
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry, geekcastradio.com.
Yep.
Okay, I'll
All
make sure to
one
tune
word.
into that one.
Geekcast Radio for TM. Sorry if I'm trying to just.
That's okay.
Yeah. So let's actually, you know what, next person on the line, Lyle, why don't you talk about your channel, and then we'll close it out with Patriot, and then we'll close out the stream. So, where could they? Lyle Man Bad on Twitter.
You can find me at Lyle Bad on Twitter, and generally any other social media, I'm going to be called Lyle Convoy. You can even join the Discord server if you're interested in things like Thundercats, looking at the animation industry, talking about toys extremely critically to the point where you want to strangle me. That's the place to go. But fair warning, if you get stupid in my comment section, I'm going to hit you back, and I'm not going to be polite like Rodimus is. There's your warning.
Okay, I'm going to put this into the chat. Copy link address, comments. This is the for TF Mike, the Geekcast Radio.
Got it.
And so you can check that out there. And then Patriot Prime, where can we find you? I guess on Facebook and on YouTube.
I'm mainly on Facebook and YouTube. Everything's under Patriot Prime Reviews instead of just Patriot Prime. I do mainly Transformers. Every now and then I delve into NECA figures. I've started doing the Origins line, but I haven't reviewed any yet. So I'm also a big Toy Hacks guy. Toy Hacks actually sponsors my channel. When Rodimus was doing this, I was actually getting ready to apply the Toy Hacks labels to Optimus Primal here to kind of see what kind of enhancement I can give him. Nice. Oh, I've got so many labels to catch up on. Actually, August is pretty much going to be G1 and Toy Hacks month for me because I'm pretty much all caught up with all the new Kingdom figures. Just reviewed this guy yesterday. Great figure, but he's very, he's nice, but it's really still hard. As nice as that figure is, it's hard to justify $80 for. Yeah, I got the trailer laying over there in the floor. The figure's on the shelf, the trailer's in the floor, waiting to go into storage. So yeah, check me out. I'm like 185 subscribers away from 10,000. So
Awesome.
I am so excited about that.
Nice.
And my whole channel
15,000 from 100K. So I know your pain.
Formed by a dare. One of my buddies said, "Oh yeah, I tried doing a YouTube channel. What the hell am I going to talk about? Oh, there's plastic robots." 3 years later.
Hey, we all dare to be stupid sometime.
That's right.
Put down that chainsaw and listen to me.
This has been an absolute blast with all of you guys. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So until next time, guys. Until all are one.
Hooah!